Shabbat Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Kakadash. No honors to the elders and the apostles of Millstone, and peace and blessings to Israel. And we're brothers here in GmsTampa Bay, coming to again, the Spirit of Yahweh to prophesy as men of the Lord are supposed to prophesy against the wicked kingdom, right? Going into, what the prophets are sent out to do is ultimately ushering in the end. When the prophets raised up, when they asked, when Samuel came on the scene, they asked him, "Is thou peaceably?" Because they know most of the time prophets come with bad news, right? And we're the bad news bearers, so to say, and that's going to say no new thing under the sun, but we're here to tell you the bad news concerning this world that it's on its way out, right? So, right.
Then Trump calls us prophets of doom.
Yeah, exactly.
The preliminary, millennial, and prophets.
It's 1 Peter 4 and 7. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7. It says, "But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer."
Yep, so the end of all things is at hand, meaning the end of this rulership, right? Someone get 2 Peter 6, right? So the end of all things is at hand, as going into an end of a thing is better than the beginning thereof. So the beginning of this kingdom was nothing but what? Hell, hurt, sorrow, and destruction for our people, which is serving as our punishment because we disobeyed his laws, his commandments, Israelites, and you so-called Negroes, Latins, and Americans who are the children of the Lord. And what's happening on the earth is he hasn't forgotten about us. He has a small remnant out there calling on his name, and he's hearing our prayers, and that's what his foundation is placed on. As Yahushua said, this gospel is going to preach the earth, then the end's going to come, right? And again, the end, when it's in a age, right? Beyond the time frame, it's wicked bullshit. Joe went from the bullshit to an end. Right? He saw Edom going to biblical prophecy, right? And you want to say there's no more Edomites, or explain the book of Isaiah, which says, who is he that cometh from Basra? Who is him that cometh from Edom with thy garments from Basra? That's a prophecy concerning Yahushua's returning, and he's coming to a specific place, which the place is a people force a place, to judge them, right? And that people's in power right now, again, it's all lined up with the biblical prophecy. Got it? Okay.
This is 2 6, verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the appointed sign of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows?
Splitting, right? Deciding factors as far as the end of one thing and the beginning of another thing. And that's going to the end of the kingdoms that were translated from the His rights to Jacob, right? According to how we discern that is by the signs of that prophecies, right? And that's why again we want to open up the spirit is being sober and a realistic mindset according to the will of Yahweh Shah. You're not again moving how people are moving in the world because they don't know the will of the Lord. That's what this is. They make them involved in the will of the Lord. Psalm 14 chapter said, "Who said in his heart there is no God?" So their counsel when they move, they don't involve again the promises of the Lord. So that's why the Lord ultimately blind them. The judgment is coming. Those who have eyes and ears to see, we're speaking directly to you because this message is for you to turn to the Lord because judgment is coming. Right? Say that again.
Then answered I and said, what shall be the part and cinder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows?
Just another question he asked, wanted to answer, he was inquiring because, we have our questions in our mind, as far as what's going on, as we find out, because he's going to over us, of course, the world's not in a good condition, our people's through, right? The same song, as we're singing again, right? As just finding out to the Lord, and he's speaking to the Lord through an angel, right? The same exact with angel, but he's speaking to an angel, that's how we can counsel the Lord, right? His message, right?
Verse 8, and it reads, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau was first, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
So that's the answer that the angel gave Ezra, was you're watching out for a people, in their chronological story playing out to the time of right now. Watch these people, wanting to again see the promise, and then you understand what's the beginning of it that followed. Because the beginning of it that followed was talking about the kingdom of heaven, right? And the end of it is when we talk about, get someone else probably grab Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians 5th chapter, right? Again, it's all about the vision, right? You have to understand the vision and the mysteries of the Lord to understand what he's talking about. If you read this without understanding, you're not going to know what the hell's going on. That's why you have men, speaking of our apostle nails on down, and teachers to teach you right the right way, how to break these things down, to say precept upon precept, line upon line. When we grew up in this world, they didn't teach us how to break down the scriptures. They gave you certain precepts, and they go on a whole rant. It has nothing to do with the precept. These feel good doctrine. That's not the sound doctrine of the Lord. The sound doctrine goes into the whole world. You have to understand the whole spectrum. It's all ultimately going into a love story, the love between the Most High and His children, and with the things that progress into ultimate our perfection that's coming. It's starting here now. It's true, Yep.
For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Right. Read again.
For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
So if Esau is the end of the world, who is this man? Who is Esau? If we're talking about the end of something, we have to find out who Esau is. Who's Esau? Right? Someone get it. Right? We have to find out who this is. Right? Who is Esau? Who is Esau according to prophecies? Right? Right. Before you get that, can I go ahead?
Quick research. Let's talk about Esau specifically. So this is Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given unto his hand, meaning the Israelites. Okay, they shall be given unto his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. This is that parting asunder that we're getting ready to come into. That's when it's going to be that time that we're in the hands of this damn devil. That's when the things are going to be changed over. It's going to be flipped upside right. Okay, but right now we're giving onto the hands of these devils, man. We're up underneath the power of the wicked. Okay, and the scriptures clearly explain to us and expound onto us who the wicked of the earth is, man. Brother's going to get into it.
Yeah, Genesis 25. All right, this is Genesis chapter 25, and Genesis chapter 25, verse 30. And Esau said unto Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his
This is Genesis 36 and 38. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
We say Esau is Edom, right? That nation of people, it's a line of people, right? And that's going into the first line, the Lord curse. From the beginning, as it's true. Proverbs and verse says, the Lord made all things for himself. Even the wicked, they have evil, so the wicked is evil.
Ezekiel 35, it talks about Mount Seir, prophecy against Mount Seir. So you already know he's talking about Esau. He's talking about so-called white man. There's no question about that. Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Right, so get to the context of the story. You can read it for yourself. Right, begin to the story. Jacob got blessed before Esau did. There's all set up in the spirit. He got supplanted, which we got a little earlier, which pretty much he sold his birthright. It's all set up ultimately for Jacob to receive that blessing. Beautiful how it played out. It goes into that's what it says. Right shall be scarcely saved. Right, Jacob scarcely got the blessing. And which again, it's all dramatic, it's all controlled. But as far as story goes, that's the telling of a good story, man. Very dramatic. Right. Read again.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Right.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above.
Yep. So this man, whoever this man is, again speaking, as you don't know what the hell's going on, right? This man, he got a blessing that he's going to rule and have the entire fatness of the earth, meaning all the earth, right? Fatness of, it's in the book of Psalms, the earth belongs to the Lord and the fatness of the earth, paraphrasing. So the Lord gives it to who he wants to, right? So it says in the book of Daniel 4:17, he ruled from the kingdom of men. So he gave this man Esau the blessing of the fatness of the earth. And that's a big deal, right? And all the people got that blessing size, of course, which is really the curse, really Jacob, right? That's the real blessing. But Esau got the fatness of the earth, meaning to rule the entire planet Earth, right? And it happened when, going to Alexander the Great, the Greek, the Greek, right? Which he ruled the known world. The Romans ruled the known world, but now this man literally rules the entire planet Earth. His influence is around the whole planet Earth, right? And that's again to get context clues of who we're actually dealing with here. And it's again, some bells will start ringing as we read these precepts, right?
It's Job 9:24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Right, so you try to judge a man, you judge him by his actions, his characteristics, right? So again, going to giving context clues, but the process of elimination, right? You start narrowing the box down, right? This man has the power to completely change, as we say, change the truth onto a lie. You know, you turn everything upside down. Who has the power to do that? Again, we're going to get into it, but so-called white man, Esau, Edom, man, right? Right. Yeah. So again, he covered the face of the judges, which you go into iconoclasm, right? You go into the history, you know. Yep. But again, he had the power to do that. No other nation did that. So-called Chinese man, he didn't go around painting images that look like everybody got chinky eyes. He didn't do that. You know, the so-called Indian man, right over there in Asia, he didn't do that. He didn't cover all the faces of the judges. The saints didn't like him. He did that. So white man did that, right? All the prophets, John the Baptist, Messiah, the Lord himself, okay, Heavenly Father, they all painted like how he looks, right? Hell, okay, which ultimately that's a curse, but again, turn the things upside down, right? But this man did this, right?
Genesis chapter 27, verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother.
Precept on that? Psalm 17, again, just clarifying who the wicked, tying the wicked to Esau. Psalm 17 and 13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword.
Right. And the sword, which the design and the use of a sword is to kill, right? You make a sword, you want to kill somebody, you want to put harm to somebody, right? And who's the one that lives by that? Okay? So white man, exactly, the one who got the blessing, right? And again, it's going into white man Esau Edom, so he lives. Read again.
Yep. Genesis 27, verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou should break his yoke from off thy neck.
Right, so the first part of that was going into, again, he shall rule by the sword. So how does man conquer these lands? He didn't do nothing friendly. He did it by the sword. He was deceiving people and then cutting them up, okay, with the sword. When our people, all the nations, he's done the same thing exactly onto, but specifically on our people, that's what we care about. That's how he conquered us, by the sword, right? Came around on, because his technology, the Lord gave him a favor, he went to an advantage, his favor, right? The Lord gave him favor, and he conquered us by his technology, his weapon technology.
Yep, and also to like the brother was saying, we always say that the media, right? That's a part of Esau's military. Okay, he weaponized the media. Why? He has to paint the narrative. Like the brother said, I qualify for most people, whitewashing. All right, in order for him to go as they say, whoever wins the war writes history. All right, this man started rewriting history. Okay? That's it.
Yep. And you can probably grab that Revelation, the red horse.
pick back up. Actually, I got a quick word. Just go right into this. Brother said that they use, the media as a weapon. They use the media as a weapon. So I went into the word there for weapon. It says, the etymology of the word, it says instrument of fighting and defense. Okay, and it goes in, and then it says sword right after that. So instrument of fighting. Who's he fighting against? He's fighting against the Most High, amongst his people. The Lord's people. Israel is supposed to be the monument of the Lord, but that's who he's warring up against. So Esau uses these different forms of weapons, okay, to fight us via media, via social media, which is still all media, all to the food, exactly.
Pharmaceuticals. It's all weaponized.
And also be accusing them. That's what he's doing. What he's doing, he's using, like the brother had said, he's using like a platform on social media, right? The internet, right, as a weapon, which is giving out enchantments, which is going into witchcraft. This is why this place is called Babylon, man. Because when you go into the word Babylon, it's Babal, which is confusion. He's throwing out different vibrations of confusion, and it's stemming from the Chaldeans, man. Because in the ancient time, that's what they did. They had their sorcery, That's Esau, Edom, man. I got a precept. This is Revelation 6:4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Yeah, now, I'm going to read it again. It says, and there went out another horse, which horse representing power, like horsepower, okay? It says that was red, which is strictly identical with Esau's birth description, man. When you're going back into Genesis, the 25th chapter, he came out red and hairy, like a hairy garment, going back into our customs with a description of him, because them devils ain't white, man. Them devils is red, man. Some red niggas, man. It says, and power was given to him. He like the brother read, Job 9:24, man. Power was given unto him, man. He was given a position of rulership for a period amount of time, okay, to punish Israel, okay? It says, that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And have this devil have he not taken peace from the earth? The earth is not even at peace, man. The earth can't breathe, man. The earth is supposed to have a day of rest, man. Look at the air. The air is defiled, man. We breathing in poison with the chemtrails. There's fluoride in our water. GMO food. This devil has been nothing but a killing instrument to the earth and the people on the earth, man. It says, and that they should kill one another, and that's what he represents, man. That's all he's about,
Yeah, real quick, he shall kill one another. But that goes to show his track record. From the Greek Empire, what happened? As soon as Alexander the Great died, what they do? All his generals started killing one another, fighting one another. Same thing with the Roman Empire. Same thing you're seeing today, and even before that. Going back to when the police, with the Renaissance era. All right, so people can understand. They were doing the same thing over and over, and you're seeing that today. In these last days, they're gonna kill one another once again. World War I, World War II, it was all Edomites. It wasn't fucking Hamites. Oh, we're gonna go to war with Germany. No, it was fucking Edomites on Edomite, red on red crime, so to say, right? And that's what's gonna be at the end days, man. And then, fortunately for us, unfortunately for the rest of the world, all the nations are gonna have to get into the skirmish. But they kill one another, man, because it's in their nature, man. They can't even get along with each other. So you think they're gonna get along with you, and they're gonna be at you for your benefit?
Right. And there was given unto him a great sword. Who was the sword given unto? Esau, Edom. That's how we know who you devils are, man. Y'all left a trail in history that lead right back up to you, man. That's it.
St. Mark chapter 3 verse 24, and it reads, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against Satan and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. All right, and we're in that time. All right, with the 10 toes. All right. Okay, you can see the division amongst the nation, man. All right, and like we was going into class last week. All right, these devils, these elites, they don't agree on certain things, man. You see, so you got division in the elites all the way down to division amongst the regular governors and mayors, man. Everybody's just completely what? Against each other, man. You see? And it's going to get to the point where it's going to get physical, where sedition is going to be on the streets, man. You see?
Yeah, and that goes into the ultimate, the nation's waking up to this man's shame, right? As he takes for glory. Again, so-called America, you know, at one point in time, not no more, of course, you know, but going into at one point in time, this was the light of the world. The beacon of the world was so-called America. Everybody wanted to be like so-called America. Want to be like, and going to so-called America, representing who's empowered, white men, so-called white men, dressing up in suit and ties, speaking English, right? Having these high-rise buildings, okay? You know, this is all going into the philosophies, you know, the democracy. You know, this is the nation trying to be like the so-called white man, right? And that again goes into how do you know who's in power? His influence, you know? His influence, again, this is going into his blessing. And going into, again, his sword, well, as we say, the only thing under the sun, right? This man, he's always been fighting. Going to the statistics, since the white man been in power, how long has Earth been at war, right? Every year, pretty much, you know? Since the Greeks, the Romans, is always fighting, infighting, outside fighting, you know? Because again, this is all going into, we're pointing to who this really is. And that man has a great judgment lingering over him. He don't want to tell you. That's why he don't like being called Esau, Edom, because there's a bad connotation with that name. That's a cursed name, right? That's why he want to call himself white, pure. You know, he want to distance himself from that name because it says in the book of Isaiah, the Lord going to remove that covering cast. You can't hide yourself no more.
Yes, it's like the Apostle Tahar just recently said it, you know, which brothers have said it a lot of times before prior as well, but the Apostle, you know, made mention of this phrase, you know, if you want to find out who's in charge, find out who you can't talk about. You know, and that's the way that the white man has put the thing, you know, this world has been set up to where you can't talk about it, especially those small hats, man. You know, you can't say nothing. You got nations where you get arrested if you do that, and they trying to do that here in Beth. Yeah, they got laws you can't. So, right, hey, that's number one example. What nation in the world can you go to and speak bad about a so-called Negro and get locked up for, man? None. You can, matter of fact, you can ridicule Jake on the streets, and everybody will point and laugh. But let you talk about one of those small hats, man. They're gonna call the patty wagon on your ass, man. That's a hate crime. Which, hey, that's just, again, going into the scriptures. The scripture says that we will be called bywords and proverbs, okay? And that's what happened to our people. But you can't talk about these other people, these other nations, all right? You do that, like the brother said, it's a hate crime. But now what the scripture says, Deuteronomy 30:7, those curses shall be put on our people. So now you have all these people talking shit about the small hats. Although the laws are still in effect, but you have all these people rising up, coming up, because why? The Lord is exposing these devils. He's revealing who this devil is, who's the one in charge. Because now people are like, wait a minute, this guy, he's been acting all these years like he's our cool friend, but he's really the one in the background running this shit. He's the one that's been making himself to prosper off these laws of so-called equality. He make everybody equal, but now he's taxing everybody. He ain't just taxing the so-called white man. Now he's taxing the blacks, the Latinos, because now that you included in it, you wanted it. But we're really just gonna do it just before we can get the taxing. Just tax you motherfuckers. Going back to the emancipation. You know, that's what that all was about. Okay.
This is Revelation 20:1. It says, "And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having a key to the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand." It says, that bottomless pit is talking about Europe. Okay. It says, "And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years."
Yeah, and you got to know a little bit of history. You know, the so-called white man, he wasn't always in power. And going into his rebirth before that, they called the Dark Ages, you know, it's pretty much a historical blackout. You know, and the reason for it is because the so-called Negro was ruling over in the land of Europe, all right? And going to, again, the bottomless pits, because that land over there, it doesn't produce, you know, what a natural land's supposed to produce, you know, going to agricultural things, you know, it's resources. You know, so that's why they had to import everything over there, because that's, again, going into Europe in that bottomless pit.
Yeah, and one of the main things is the natural resources, you know, like oil and gold and such things like that. It's not as in abundance. Not that they don't have it, you know, but it's not as abundant as other nations. You know, you go to places like Saudi Arabia, you kick the floor on, oil might start coming up. You know, same thing over here in America, full of gold. You find it in the rivers, silver, you know. oil as well, you know. But if you go to Britain, that's why they got natural gas coming from Russia. They got to import all this other stuff, you know, oil. They got to import it in over there, you know. But real quick, just to prove the part about the pit being meaning that it's talking about Europe. It said the bottomless pit. But this is 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and 24 says, and of all the lands of the whole world thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof one lily. And what's the one pit, meaning the land that the Lord chose? He chose that land of Israel over there, that fertile crescent. That was the Garden of Eden. So that's bring out that precept to prove that a pit is talking about a land and not some hole that people, you know, Christians go into, some bottomless pit like it's some damn cavern underneath the ground, yeah, hell or some shit, yeah. That pit is talking about a land, and more specifically the bottomless pit. It's like a brother brought out, these two brothers, you know, it's lack of resources is what makes it bottomless, meaning empty. It's void of sustenance, so to say, you know.
And that's going into the setup why Esau went out with that sword, because he ain't been using that bottomless pit. So it's coveting after the nations what they have, you know. So he says, I got an issue. Well, how I'm gonna get what they got? I'm gonna use what I have, and it's my blessing, the sword.
Hence why Russia's fucking them up. Because there's a bottomless pit. They need resources, you know, and you'll say they're getting other resources, but if they're not getting gas and, you know, shit to use those resources with.
Right, which they just came out, I think, like 2 weeks ago at the most. They came out and said that they already got the plans written down for rationing electricity. Is either electricity or natural gas. You know, so they already got those plans. Because why? Because they already know that supply's going to be short.
Real quick, look where the World War I and World War II happened. It was in Europe. And why did a lot of people, millions of people, died of famine? Why? Because first of all, they motherfuckers couldn't just go to the farm because they had to bring food in. And if the food stopped coming in because of the war, people would die from famine. You know, it makes sense as the bottomless pit. 2 world wars were fought there, man.
Quick precept, Malachi 1 and 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, where hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
And that's going to happen again, you know. And this time, his heritage is going to be laid waste, but you don't have no heritage, you know, because this whole thing is steal, lie, kill. That's what his makeup is. You know, he has no good history. You know, thing about technology, stuff like that. He wished he never made the internet, you know, stuff like that. That's good to say if you do good, it's unwillingly. You know, says that book in the Sirach, you know. So he did good things unwillingly because ultimately the Lord is in control. Going to again him being laid waste, his heritage laid waste because again the Lord's not dealing with him. You know, and Jacob going into him saying, where's thou loved us? Because we're always catching hell. You know, but again you have to have the bigger spectrum of what's going on here. His Lord ultimately is playing out his movie as he said, thus saith the prophecies, and at the end we're gonna win. We're gonna be on top, you know. And that's again the changing of worlds is happening. That's why this man's world is going under and our world is getting raised up. Starting with y'all about to shot.
Read verse 3 real fast. That's it. Revelation 20 and 3. And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled.
That was that Byzantine Empire where Esau, he was under subjection, he was in slavery. You know, not they're going to slavery, he's getting ready to go to like real slavery. But that was just a time where again the Lord had Jacob over there ruling. You know, the Dark Age, look up these icons, you know, Russian icons, a lot of them, some of them are still preserved. There's so much out there, you can only destroy so much evidence, right? You look up, again, you see the true nature, the true color of the Lord's servants and prophets. That's what he went into, he covered the face of the judges, you know, so who did that? So what Esau Edom did. So he was sealed up so he couldn't deceive the world at that time.
Quickly add, at that time, that's when they became the Khazarians, you know, the Khazarian Empire. That's when they was going into the caves in Russia, you know. These devils have a history of keep changing their name, you know, hiding from their true identity.
Finish just the last sentence. It says, and after that,
Like in the Caucasus Mountains,
yep.
Russia-Georgia border. Which that's who ultimately took down the Byzantine Empire, the Khazarians. Which that's who was in the land of Israel now. Right? Khazars, exactly. Yeah. Which was the Khazarian Empire. Going back, but they was the ones that moved into Israel. Those are the people they put in Israel. Okay, people that stand from that, they're them people. All right, which who was his name?
John Arcanus.
Now Vladimir, they call him
Keller.
that Vladimir Impaler hated them. He was a Jake, he hated them. So that's where you get he would put their heads on a stake and shit. Yeah, he hated them Khazarians, man. Yeah, Dracula, yeah.
It says, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season.
Yep, and that him being loose, as you go into that history with Pope Alexander, right? You know, with the PayPal bull, you know, the Lord gave this man power to go out and usher his new world, you know, for that time being, you know, under the so-called banner of Christianity. You know, this is your new God, Jesus, you know, good ship, Jesus, all that. Because again, the Lord gave this man power to give that influence out. And if you didn't, you're gonna come with that sword, you know? And again, that influence spread, eventually came over to the so-called Americas, right? This is where, again, that's why we're here, right? Because the bigger picture is he went out and deceived the nations, right? And he claimed that he's the people of God. You know, God's dealing with him, right? You know, manifest destiny, God, you know, is pretty much with what he's doing. You know, going to, again, his Latin, you know, Novus Ordo Seclorum and Nua Coeptis, you know, God is with our undertakings, you know, so, and so for you know, he's halfway right, like the serpent was in the garden, you know, thou shalt not surely die, right? You know, thou shalt know good and evil, thou shalt be as God. So, you know, he said halfway true, but really, ultimately, Lord sent him up for the big showdown, which is great judgment that's going to play out, right?
Hey, in the second verse it said, and lay hold on that dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil. All right, and send them forth. So like the brother was saying, that's literally the left hand of the Most High, coming directly from the left hand of the Most High to send this dude forth to deceive Satan. Satan sits on the Lord's left hand. All right, he's the top angel on the left hand side. All right, then on there, there's a respectable order. Just like on the right hand, you got Yahweh Shai, and then a respectable order underneath there. So that's literally was the left hand of the Most High sent forth a messenger to deceive the planet, man. You know, as he gonna send Yahweh Shai, his right hand to basically set forth order, he sent his left hand to basically deceive the planet. Man.
Yep, to set up that power structure, the beast, right? You know, 10 horns, 7 heads, right? And then going to the woman, the whore that rides that beast, being so-called America. Esau's power structure had to come back into place. Right? We just talk about his deadly wound being healed. Well, the Roman Empire is here again. That's why you go into these government buildings. You got Roman architecture, right? You know, it's all again going into even going farther than that. You know, you go into Mount Seir, right? The same design structure to tell you who this man really is, right? He keeps repeating himself. You know, that's why what says in the book of Ecclesiastes, there's no remembrance of former things, or paraphrase when you're born again. So he's being deceived, just like the Lord said. It's deceived, deceiver are his.
Right here. Job 12:16. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his.
Right. So the Lord is in control of everything. Right. How you think about these little things that happen on earth. The Lord gives control as a sparrow that falls down to the ground. Right. So how much more again the formation of kingdoms. Right. The certain events that happen to play in their favor. The geological location that they're in gives them advantage. You know, to maybe buy a good source of water. Right. They have a good spot where they can build themselves up to the point where the Lord ultimately transfers that power. That's why you have the book of Daniel, 2nd chapter, going into those heathen nations, that statue of these Gentile kingdoms that will be in place, that will rise and fall before the kingdom of Yahweh Shai comes, right? We're at the last part of it, the weakest part of that statue, going into the feet of it, right? And you take out foundation, you go to the core into prophecy. That's going to say let all things be done decently and in order. That's why the prophets there specifically set up to give you the signs to watch for. We're watching this devil and how he's moving because he has an evil plot that he's doing. We're just going to put out that chip. Okay, the Lord's going to be able to do that, all right, for a short period of time to ultimately condemn the unbelievers and the wicked, right, to bring in this, pretty much the condemnation, which the Lord's going to raise up the nation to shoot them with missiles over here and clear this place out, right? But read again, that day shall not come except they be fallen away first. We'll get into it, read again.
Con, 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first.
So Apostle Paul was speaking thousands of years ago at the time, speaking to Israelites, all right, because at that time, Yahweh Shai is fresh in their minds, right? He, fulfilled all things. He went up to the spiritual realm. He's sitting on that right-hand side, right? So that's why disciples and around him, they was asking, when's going to bring the kingdom, all right? Going to the book of Acts, it says, shall thou this time restore the kingdom unto Israel, right? Because they're watching for, again, the Lord to come back, because again, that goes into our kingdom, our salvation being brought forth, right? So Apostle Paul is pretty much breaking the bad news, so to say, because they probably didn't understand at the time, which those we are the men, it's going to be a long time before that day is going to come. And we're at that day right now, right?
Con. It says, "And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition."
Right. So again, we're going to the man of sin, right? The son of perdition, the son of destruction, right? And that's the so-called white man Esau Edom. Again, what does he do? His characteristics, everywhere he goes. Was that Happy second chapter? Death and hell follow. So when he comes in, right? Again, going into deception, people think, oh, he's going to be in our favor, he's going to look out for us. And then as time plays out, you get your nation gets dried of its resources, and pretty much it's the worst case scenario than what it's been. Prime example, look at the Middle East, right? Your mind thinking the Middle East is always just a bunch of savages, right? Unstructured, this desolate land, right? But hey, that's the place where these Ishmael, right? And these other nations, they had their setup, right? These leaders, Gaddafi and all them, they had their thing going, right? But again, going into media deception, Esau, he lies, so he gives the public favor, so he can pretty much go with his undertakings, right? He can be justified by his own lies. He goes in and starts bombing, taking out resources, taking poppy fields and stuff that got nothing to do with what he's campaigning about. But ultimately, he gets what he wants, and then people just looking like, hey man, what do you expect pretty much,
Listen,
There's more, but yeah.
quick one. This Revelation 18:3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
So they're taking a piece of, ultimately, like you say, pretty much joining hand in hand, all right? Taking a piece of his pie, which he stole. Because again, going into how he came into power, what did he do? He took down your so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. He raped, robbed, murdered, right? And then threw you under the bus, right? And then that's why it says, also Habakkuk, pretty much a man, woe to him that established a city by blood, right? So this kingdom was built by blood money, right? So when you think of these things that happen upon the planet Earth, and really the great shutdown to be so-called America is long awaited, right? That's what they say, the Lord is not mocked, right? All this evil thing he's been doing, he's not to pay for it, right? This man Esau has not paid for what he's done. Okay, so that's why these people, these so-called apologists, you got vocab, all right, trying to say he don't exist. Well, that's what that saying goes. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he don't exist, right? This man is right here in plain sight, and he's ruining your world, right? You wondering why you can't meet ends meet, you're broke as hell, okay? You're trying to make an honest living, and you always find yourself coming up short, right? And you always, when you're paying stuff, you got tax, paying taxes to something that's not pretty much helping you out, So that's why, again, was going to sedition and things like that, because people got sold a dream. These nations got sold a dream. They got sold an idea, and the idea was his New World Order. And now they're coming to find out, because again, we're coming real close to him and feeling his belly. It was never in their favor. And they're scratching their head saying, where do I fit in this whole plan, right? And that's why, again, these nations are not dealing with the war no more, because it's all, again, going to prophecy. They're going to ultimately shoot missiles, like it says in Revelation 17th chapter. They're going to shoot missiles at so-called America.
Yeah, right? And that part of that is the democracy. America's going around, pushing around, but America's a bunch of hypocrites, because here it is, America's going around, push democracy. But look at the state of America's democracy. It's a joke. The voting system is a joke. Your president is a joke. America's going around talking about let's liberate and bring democracy to the region, stabilize the region. But look at America. You're busting in, kicking down the door at ex-presidents' houses. Your president, he don't know what the fuck's going on. The nigga is senile, Yeah, reach flashcards. Dude, stuttering Bob, as we call him, or stuttering Joe, Joe Bob, whatever you want to call him. He's a fucking idiot either way. So that's part of the wine that the nations have taken on. And now they're like, yo, what the fuck? This is all bullshit. And not only that, but all the fads and all the bullshit that comes out of America, McDonald's, feminism, all this bullshit that's come out of America, all these nations are realizing it's all bullshit. And it's making our society worse. Look at America. Look at America. America's crumbling. So what do you think is going to happen to your country? Your country's already shit, and you've taken on the ways of America, but your country's going to get even worse, man. It's only a matter of time. Look what happens in the Middle East. They fighting tooth and nail to keep feminism out of there. Why? Because feminism destroys, that's part of that wine. Because remember, it's a whore. The Bible describes America as a great whore. Right. So feminism is definitely part of it, okay? Because that's one of the main components of the destruction of a society. Liberty, Okay.
That's why the scriptures say, you know, women shall be their oppressors and children shall rule over them. The children is the so-called white man. You know, that's again going into his nature of how he acts. He's a big kid, man. And then of course, like the brothers just mentioned, feminism, women rule over them, man. And it's not that literally there's women that are in positions of higher power. Obviously there is, but not that are running the whole, you know, running things on a country's level. But that's that part of that beast is that feminism spirit, or you know, women rule over you, man.
Yep, I gotta preach something.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
This is Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad.
Right. So Babylon had been that golden cup, meaning it got lifted up. You know, a golden cup you lift up as far as giving reverence, all right, giving honor, toast to. Again, that's that pretty much the philosophies of so-called America, right, by the so-called white man. All this stuff that's happening on the earth is new, right? That's going into feminism and women ruling over men, right? That's new. This a new concept, and it all comes from where? The West. And that poison is spreading out throughout the four corners of the earth. That's why these nations are catching hell, because they fell for that dream this nigga sold you, right? And they're waking up and realizing that, again, this what they were sold is a lie, right? You know?
The book of Revelation, chapter 17, start at verse 15. He saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, going into those EU countries, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled.
And that has not come to pass yet. That's a future prophecy that's surely coming to pass. And again, you go into this man's power structure, it's crumbling, right? There's no order, right? Because again, he's crumbling this world because he wants to put in his new order. You're talking about a constitution, you're talking about I got rights. Well, that's done away with, all right? Because they're going to issue, you watch these movies, 1984, you give you an idea of the dystopian world that's getting ready to happen upon your so-called beloved America, right? And you're thinking about communism and what's going on in China. You think it's far-fetched? You know, this nigga watching you everywhere you go. You got social credit system, cameras everywhere rewarding you for being a snitch, or you know, whatever the case may be. All right, now going out there and protesting, nigga, cutting your chip off, right? Which right now is just your phones, which is going to Alipay. They got all that shit on there. You got your payment, all stuff you can do. You pay bills on there, right? You know, you get into your buildings and over there in China, right? And that system's going to transition to that chip, right? So that's, you think that's far-fetched? Well, that's coming here so-called America. It's all just a trial, right? That whole juice mandates is to scare you people to fall into his plans, because that's why, again, they're waking up to them. When you're waking up to a lie, what happens? You get mad, right? You get told a lie, you get pissed off.
Hey, real quick, did Esau do that with your license? You ever had your license suspended, you driving and you get pulled over, and then you find out your license suspended. Well, in the system, they already suspended your shit. It's just Esau hasn't put that mark in you yet, all right? To the point where now, when you next time you go to the market, these next generation of cars, they talking about a chip shortage. But these next, you know, when you go back to the car market again, it's gonna be all electrical cars, all right? And they're gonna have that technology in there. Whether you know you got the device in you, you get in there, your car ain't gonna crank up. It's gonna tell your license suspended, all right? And you don't even know right now today your license used to be suspended. You don't even know it. But anywhere you go, you get pulled over. You drive from one state to another, they pull you over, your license suspended. All right, they can just lock you down anywhere, man. Now he's just gonna merge you with that device. So now it's gonna be even quicker. Like he's gonna be able to just shut you down right there. You won't even be able to leave your own damn house, man. They show you that with the house arrest thing. All right, you put that on, they got you on a GPS, you left your house, or you wasn't allowed to go out this time. That's coming to everybody, man. Everybody's gonna be on house arrest. Everybody's gonna have a tracking device on them, man. You know?
Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to, you ain't gonna have to put on no ankle bracelet.
Exactly.
You know, with that, they can tell how fast you're going, they tell everything. You know, you know, not to the extent to where it's inside your body like the charagma's gonna be, but you can tell a lot about where you at, yes. You know. Yeah. But real quick, I got a quick precept. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds, because the scripture says he can't sleep lest he does wickedness, right? So in the night he's pondering, he formulates these evil plans, which, you know, at night it's really in his darkness, man, in the shadow of things.
Secret counsel.
Yeah, in his secret councils where Esau does these little comes up with these wicked inventions to come up against the people. And it says, when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of the hand. So this is a time that we're coming into to where his final device that he's been planning throughout all these years in his dark little so-called layers, you know. Now it's about to be that time of morning, but guess what? The time of morning means the sun is risen. Right. That's where Esau is not accounting for that. He thinks that he's going to be able to fight off the Lord and be able to, enact his judgment upon the world, which is to be servants under him. But that's not going to come to pass.
What you got? I'm going to look for an article.
All right. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, verse 1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people. The widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless."
Right. So like, real quick, read it again from the top.
This is the book of Isaiah 10 and 1. "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed."
Right. That's what Esau has done, man. He's prescribed wickedness on the earth. Now people are allowed to get away with committing adultery. It's actually glorified. They come up with these little funny terms, sneaky link and Gio and Gia and all these other nicknames that they got for committing adultery. But continue to go on. The next, I think it's the next verse or the next part of the verse.
Verse 2, it says, "To turn aside the needy from judgment."
To turn aside the needy from judgment. Who are the needy? The Israelites, man.
Right.
And our people, okay, the Lord knew that if we didn't have correction, that we just go all over the place, just doing whatever the hell we wanted, because we're a woman that's easily led away. So it said to turn away the needy from judgment. See, so now Esau has allowed our people to commit all this wickedness, and we've gotten even worse than we were before. Before we were golden calves and all this, but we still do it in secret. Our people would try to keep that shit secret to some certain extent. Now people out here flamboyant as hell, walking around clear bundles of sticks, man. You can tell that a man is a bundle of sticks by the way he walking. Shit, nowadays you can't even tell whether it's a man or a woman, man. That's how wicked our people have become, man. And it's needful for us to be chastised by the Lord, man. Because if not, again, like we said, like brothers have been saying, man, our people run rampant, they become worse, and now look at the state that we're in, oppressed by the basis of men. That's how simple and low our people fell, man. Continue. And then you go.
Back at verse 2, it says, "To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people."
Yeah, because the righteousness, the right things of the Lord have been taken away from you. You lost who you were. You lost the name of your power. Okay, you lost your customs and how you would draw near unto the Lord. All those things were stripped from you, man. But now the Lord, through his magnificent power, okay, he's giving it back onto a few. Okay, go ahead.
Right, exactly. It says, "And to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless."
And that's Jake, man. The fatherless, man. And how they robbed us? How do you rob somebody, man, without them having to fight back? Well, you got to break them down to the point to where they believe that what they have isn't even theirs, or they don't even value what they have. So they're like, man, I don't care if you take it. Go ahead. You know, what was it to me? Because that's the spirit that Esau was in.
Right.
He's like, look, yeah, you can take this blessing. This ain't doing nothing for me. So now Esau is trying to put that spirit back on you people, so that he can easily come and put that thing in you and take away the blessing, man. Because ultimately his end goal is to come up against the elect, but he knows that he can't pinpoint them, so he just got to come against all you niggas, man. That's why now you're hearing, or you've been hearing, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the most susceptible to the C-19. Now it's the orangutan, okay? Are you now all of a sudden, all these years, Jake been getting through with obesity and cancer and all this, but now every new sickness come out, y'all the main targets. Now all of a sudden, all these new diseases only target niggas in spicks and tontos. What a coincidence.
Really?
That was it?
I got a quick precept back on that, Isaiah 10. It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 44. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land. And I'm going to jump down to verse 49. To the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. As you know, that's taking the judgment away from the needy. You know, basically, you read that again, my show.
Isaiah 10, verse 2, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people.
Exactly. What's right is the law. You know what I'm saying? They stripped us of the laws of who we are, our true power, our name, the name of the Most High and the Son. As the scripture said, he covered the faces of the judges thereof, and ultimately the Lord gave him that power. So this goes all the way back. You know, this was in the time of the Grecians, you know, after Alexander. So they've been doing these same things over and over, and this is the state of our people today, you know, to the point we don't even know who we are. We don't apply these laws to the best of our abilities. Like about going into 9, they openly committing sin. Back then they used to hide and, you know, worship all, so on and so forth. Now they just openly, you know, profess it.
If I can add on to the brother's point, which he made a beautiful point, you know, a part of them robbing us was a part of them making us be discontinued from our heritage, man. You know, and that's what the nations has done, and that's how they fully conquered it and was able to rule, by discontinuing us from our heritage. Going back into the Greeks when they forced us to practice Greek customs, going into Hellenization, which that's what Hellenization is. Greek custom, practicing Greek customs. You know, when they made the pig sacrifice on the altar, you know, when we couldn't get circumcised, the babies couldn't get circumcised, you know, this is the discontinuing from our heritage, even down to going into slavery. When we came in on the slave ships, they was beating our heritage out of us, man, because Jake knew who they were, you know. But they show you movies like, what was that, Roots, when dude was like, my name is Kota.
Oh,
yeah, Kota. Yeah. No, your name is Toby, boy. You know, and that's what they did, even with the so-called Native Americans. You know, they killed the men, kept the women, and indoctrinated the women and children, man. You know, discontinue for our heritage. This is a process of them robbing us, man. You know.
Real quick, First Maccabees 1 and 41, because the brother made a point, especially starting with the Greeks, the Hellenization. All right, when they basically Hellenized the whole known world. Well, they made you speak Greek, or you had to convert to speaking Greek. Well, you don't even call on the Heavenly Father's name in the Hebrew. All right, so that's disconnecting you from your power, man.
Right.
Changing your language. When you only can call on the language of the Lord is the Hebrew, you can call on the true name of the Lord in the Hebrew, then you got to speak Greek. That's completely cutting off from the heritage. You got something you want to say, Brother?
I was going to say, because even English, that's a Renaissance language, you know? It's like they got the iconoclasm. All these are newborn, you know, including this language.
So, First Maccabees 1 and 41, it says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
So that's the whole concept, that one world thing, and it really goes back to Tower of Babel. Because again, when you're trying to make war against the Most High, you need to think that they come together all as one, and we're going to overcome the Lord. You know, we're all going to speak one language, we're going to be all into the same stuff, all right? You know, wearing the same clothes, same customs, same God, right? You know, and that's how they're going to overcome the Lord, right? But again, it never works. So how much more in this time, right? Which the devil thinks he's about to fulfill it, all right? That's what, again, the Lord says he's going to laugh because he sees his days coming. Like, man, building up this whole, you know, Lego thing, about to put his last pieces and someone just smack it down. That's hilarious, right?
Yeah,
You know?
I got a precept for you, B. You said that. What was that? Job 20 and 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in strength. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him.
Yep. So here it is. He's supposed to be at the peak of his power, right? But he's in a bad position, you know? And you can tell by the moves that these elites are, because the shadow government is really government that runs the world. You got puppets, you got characters and faces, so you can point the fingers at, say, oh, that's the bad guy. Point at Joe Biden, he's the bad guy. No, he's taking orders for somebody. You know, he's answering phone calls for somebody that got no name, right? You just hear a voice and they're getting commands, right? And how it plays out, you know, but he gets papers on his desk, right? But again, going to this devil, he's highest in technology, right? Think about all these kingdoms. They fall at their peaks, right? They fall at their peaks, at the height, at the kingdom technology, the influence, and then something happens where it just crumble beneath their feet, right? And it's because the Lord brings them down, you know? So again, the fullness of his sufficiency. He has a fantasy earth. He has even out of space, in the deep sea, he's going down doing stuff, right? In the mountains, he has everything, right? But now, again, the Lord is coming down upon him. That's why Revelation 12:12 says he has a short time. That's what's going to come down great wrath. So he knows he's in a bad position. It says every hand the wicked shall come upon him, going to the laborers, you know, and goes into people that were working for this man, right? Blood, sweat, and tears, right? And they're not getting none in return. And that's really going to our people, you know, working for free, still working for damn free, pennies on the dollar. Right? This man accumulated so much wealth from us being in slavery. We're 300 some years behind this man, you know. So currently, we're never going to catch up, right? But that's why Jake's pretty much getting fed up, which we don't condone that. But that's all prophecy as well. It goes into Judas have been lying in the city, right? Because again, they're fed up how they've been treated, man. You know?
Yep. And just to add on, we seen Esau being in the streets right now, man. Because here it is, he's trying to execute his new world order, right? Even starting from when he first tried to execute and further his agenda, going back into the so-called 9/11, you know? But that, what was that? Okay, that was a staged event, all right? To gear society up and mold the people into a direction of fear and obedience, man, submission, right? And as he did that, right, as things continue to go on, now you got these pandemics, all right? But now in the time of these pandemics, when he's trying to do the same tactic, all right, because this devil tricks doesn't change, man. Like the scripture says, nothing on the sun. But when he's doing these same tactics, what's happening? Like the scripture said in Psalms, that their own tongue shall fall upon them. And that's what's happening right now. We seeing their own people, their own doctors is coming out saying these devils is a liar.
Because they realize they ain't getting a piece of the pie to it. So they hurt.
That's the spirit of Esau, man. He's always been a greedy bastard. You know, the nature of them is already where they're how's it put in Habakkuk? They are
Spirit is not
like he sells all nations, and he is not satisfied. Something like that.
Yeah.
Forget how it goes. This man can't be satisfied, man. No matter how much this man has, he can't be satisfied. Even on a lower level, these Edomites on a lower level ain't satisfied, man. That's why they still be working 80 hours a week to get ahead in their company, man. And they do all the things they do. Why? They hate on their neighbors. They definitely hate on Jake, because they see that Jake is a lazy ass dude. And that's a stigma about Jake. They like, oh, Jake don't want to work. But then they see Jake riding around in a fucking Cadillac, brand new 2020, 2021 Benz, and they're like, motherfuckers, man. You know?
Yeah, that's how they was feeling back in when you go back into the so-called Black Wall Street, man.
Right.
You know, they was hating on Jake, man.
Yeah, because you had the loser Edomites, like there's always been. You know, the Dust Bowl Edomites. Like, what the fuck?
Trailer trash.
Yeah, trailer trash Edomites looking at like, what the hell? How did? And that's the same shit you got today. Like, there's still trailer trash Edomites and Exhibit A across the street. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Jay driving around with $100,000 cars, man. And Esau can't even afford a Honda Accord, man. A brand new one.
I got a quick precept because the brothers brought out, you know, how these nations were confederate and they came up against us, you know, to take that name away. And that's a part of the reason why, because they were hating. So this is Deuteronomy 4, and I'll just start at verse 6, read through 8. It says, keep therefore and do them, talking about the laws. For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who hath the Most High so nigh unto them, as the Lord our power is in all things, that we call upon him for?
Yeah, so what the brother just said, he said that they were hating on Jake. You know, even though it's right there, it says that they look at us as wise and understanding people. But what? Why? How do they, they were hating on us? What would they do every time to get us? Sack the temple. Where the law, statutes, commandments, was given by the Moses, the Levitical priesthood. And then what would they do? Go straight to the mediators. Sack the temple. But how would we communicate with the Most High? The temple. The Holy of Holies. So they would sack the temple. All right, we got to cut them off from the Most High. They're doing too good. We got to get rid of them. That's what they try to do now. But now, it's not a physical temple. Now it's the third temple, spiritual. So we can't do that.
And every time these nations would come up against us, when we called on the Lord, they got destroyed. The nations got their asses handed to them. And so they were like, yo, we got to take the name of the Lord from these people. Because if not, boy, they going to rule the whole earth. They're going to take over everybody, man.
And they try so hard, and we still got the name of the Lord.
That's why
Yahushua was so important, because he rent the veil and gave us access to the Holy of Holies through his blood. So we don't need a temple anymore. We don't need the Levitical priests. Now it's under the order of Melchizedek. So he saw, and all the heathens can't do nothing anymore to separate us from the Most High. The Most High, even though the Most High allowed us to rebuild the temple, and you saw what happened, same thing again. So then he sent his son, you know, as the mediator, the perfect mediator, or that perfect sacrifice. You know,
The chief cornerstone.
That's why in Deuteronomy or Revelation 11, I believe, it talks about that, or 12, maybe it was 11, but it talks about that fear fell upon them when they stood upon their feet, man. Because they're like, damn, we did all this, and they still standing up on their feet. I thought we done killed these people. I thought we was gonna have control of the earth.
and to stand up on their feet goes to the dry bones raising up, man. Giving that life, because you stand upon your feet, you're alive, you know.
I got a quick one real fast. Matthews 24 and 24. It's like it. Matthews 24 and 22, because that's the brother was going into. Okay. That we don't need a physical temple no more. The scripture say which temple ye are. Which is why Esau, he basically wants to annihilate. He wants to annihilate us. Because what? If he do away the seed of Israel, then what? It say the Lord, basically, he, how it went, like, it basically Esau is trying to kill all us. Yeah. So you get the birthright back, man. Right. All right, because it's not a so-called, the actual temple anymore. Matthew 24 and 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened, man. All right, because hey, those the people of the Lord, those the elect, they had a connection with the Most High through Yahushua, as the brother went into, man. Okay, so he wants the elect, he wants to defile you. He wants to put you to death. He wants to kill you, man. That's why the Lord is going to have to come back to shorten those days, and that deliverance is going to have to come, because Esau now knows, hey, the Spirit dwells in us. Okay, we don't need the actual physical temple no more. All right, so he's going to come after us. That's where that persecution rolls in, and so on and so forth. All right?
That's what you do when you wage war against somebody. You cut off communication. That's the first thing you do, because when you cut off communication, it creates confusion. And that's what happened to our people. They got confused. They got confused because they weren't taking heed to the words of the Lord. They got seduced by these seducing spirits, and they got led away from their heritage. And that's why the devil came in, as they would say, the devil's advocate. He helped our people fall into that case. He encouraged evil and punished you for good. That's what goes into our captivity. He beat all the men, the manliness out of our men, right, and upheld the women. And again, roles got reversed. He created chaos in the household, right? So now, again, going to who has the real power, it says the woman's weaker vessel. The man rules over the woman. So he brought him down, as it says in the book of Matthew. You got to bind the strong man, right? And then you can spoil the house. So that's what he did. Cut off communication. That's why, again, he wants to get that from the Lord. That's why he had that Maccabees, right?
Yeah, you want me to get that?
Yeah, because that's what he wanted to do. Antioch's Epiphany, he wanted to cut off our communication with the Lord.
This First Maccabees 1 and 41, it says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Yeah, so all the heathen agreed, and that includes our people too. They're not literally heathen, but as would say, after the first and second admonition, reject, as far as him rejecting the words of the Lord, they'd be casted out as a heathen, because they took on the customs. They want to be like the heathen, so the Lord counts them as heathen. But again, these nations, they came together ultimately because they wanted to take down Jacob, right? Psalm 8, 3rd chapter tells you about that, Right?
Yep. I'm going to get this 43 real fast. It says, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath.
Yep, so that's when we fell, right? And to go into how the Lord punishes people, he punishes the whole nation, So that's what the Lord did to us. A few bad grapes, a few bad apples, that's what caused us to go into slavery, And ultimately because of sin, again, the Lord had a story for us to be perfected, us getting new bodies, so we don't have to sin no more. That's why, again, the direct attack is take away our custom, take away our laws, because they know about the curses in Deuteronomy 28th chapter. We don't keep the words of the Lord. We're going to get cursed, right? I know it was in Judah 5th chapter. We find that, going to pretty much these nations know when they deal with Israel, there's a certain thing they have to do in order for them to take them down. They have to have us to err from the ways of the Lord. Then we can be conquered, You can find it in the 5th chapter. So you have some?
Yeah, so.
Oh, yeah, get that.
This is Psalms chapter 83, and right to the point, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right, and that happened in this captivity. You know, completely done away with our heritage. What Jeremiah 17:4, we've been discontinued. All right, the Lord said that to Jeremiah. Jeremiah is a highly revered prophet, and he forgot who he was. You know, and it's all through reincarnation because the Lord knew he was going to be back. He didn't forget about his heritage then. You know, in the time of ancient Babylonians about to take down the southern kingdom with King Nebuchadnezzar. All right, that didn't happen then, and it happened in this time. You know, it was periodically. You know, a constant decline from our excellency, from the time of Adam, we were in the garden, all the way down to the time where right now we're in the lowest part of our existence as a nation of people, you know, because again, it goes into we've been removed from our heritage, removed from our power, and that's what happens, you know, and that's what happened. You know?
So in Genesis it talks about the fallen stars.
Yeah.
You know, we were those fallen stars. You know, giants. Yeah, giants. You know, we were not literally giants, but you know, magnificent people. That's how renowned we were. You know, people knew about the children of the Most High, but we fell, cast down. You know, and we became as the other people were. You know,
Dying like that.
Yep.
That was it.
Yeah.
We'll go into the nations.
All right, come on. This is Psalms 83 and verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent.
Right. So there you go. They consulted together one consent. Did not, we just read about Antiochus Epiphanes. He said all the world should have what? One language, one religion, all the same customs, right? So they all came together because the point is to take down Israel. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, very peculiar people, you know, that always just seems to be in the midst of everything, you know? It just can't go away, you know, because the Lord is ultimately dealing with those people. They are the children of the Lord.
They are confederate against the tabernacles of Edom.
Yep, so first he names Edom. We read earlier, Genesis 36 chapter, Esau is Edom, all right? That line of people, the rules of them, their whole mindset is to what? To take down the nation of Israel, and again, going to that confederacy. The main it's like the main antagonist is Esau, the so-called white man, right? And with who?
God. And Ishmael,
Ishmael.
and the Ishmaelites
Yep.
of Moab, and the Hagrims, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek,
Yep.
the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, Ashur also is joined with them. They had hoping the children of Lot, Salah.
Right, so they gave us help, right? And going into, that's why the Lord said, what it was in the book of Isaiah, that his wrath upon all the nations, right? Because again, remember what they've been doing. You might not take into consideration, but have you ever pondered why in every neighborhood you live in, you got gun stores, liquor stores, smoke shops, all right? Bacon, all type of bacon, pork, you know, extravagant category of unlawful foods, right? And they're always at a good, decent price, very cheap, right? For you to be accessible, easily accessible to you, because this is, again, these traps and snares, these things that came together, and it's been from the beginning, all right? Trying to cut us off from our excellency. That's what they've been doing. Again, it's a gradual thing, right? And again, ultimately, it's just we're going into right now, which again, we've woken up from that state, and that's why nations are in great fear, like it says in the book of Revelations, because how all this money, time, and resources and energy to take us from the information that we have now, that we received it, okay? Nothing that we did. Again, the Spirit of the Lord quickened us, right? And that's why these nations, they're afraid because they know what's next. They're going to be put in subjection, right?
This is Psalms 33, Psalms 37 and verse 12. The wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord, Yahweh Shemiel Shai, shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming.
Yep, so all that effort they're doing is ultimately witness against them, and it's in vain. All the riches they grabbed up. James the 5th chapter says, James the 5th chapter goes into, again, his riches being corrupted. Right? This man came and again stole all the things that you see here, not by righteous and fair ways, it's by wickedness. You know, and again, all that evil, someone get that Ecclesiastes 8th chapter that says against evil work. All right, he just continued on to build up because he didn't consider latter end. His judgment is nigh hand, and he wants to make you think he's in power. He wants to make you think he got it all controlled, but he don't. That's what I talked about when the wrath comes. He's gonna go hiding, you know, because he knows he's in trouble. He's not gonna tell you that. We're gonna tell you that he's in trouble, right? That was it.
Yeah.
It's the book of Judah, chapter 5, verse 3, and jump to 17, verse 3. And he said unto them, tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is that dwelleth in the hill country. Verse 3, and he said unto them, tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is that dwelleth in the hill country, And what are the cities that they inhabit? And what is the multitude of their army? And wherein is their power and strength? And what king is set over them or captain of their army?
Right, so you're going to count the costs, right? These nations are counting the costs of how, again, trying to measure up Israel, how they can take them down. So they're asking these questions, again, concerning how we can take these people down, right? And that's what these nations always constantly do, consulting together with one consent to take us down from axis. What?
We jump to verse 17. And whilst they sinned not before their power, they prospered, because the Most High that hateth iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities was taken by the enemy.
Right, so going to that history is well known. Right, so that history has not been destroyed. Okay, these nations going to these archives with this information, and they're going to, again, Israel. What is our falter, our failure? And as again, we get removed from our power. We get removed from our power, we're subject to all these things, to the same elements of the world, right? And that's what happened to our people. But it says, as we were with our power, nothing can happen unto us. Because that's what the Lord told us. If we keep His ways, we're going to be prosperous in all the things that we do. We couldn't break or skip, okay? We couldn't lose, like you think about it, at the house, you lose stuff, you lose your phone, you lose your keys. It never happened back then when we was in union with our power. All right? But read that
This guy
again.
is not righteous.
Judah chapter 5, verse 17. And whilst they sinned not before their power, they prospered.
So while they sin not against their power, they prosper. Right? So again, going to count the cost, that's when you don't deal with the nation of Israel. You don't want to make up try to make an attack against them, because ultimately you're going to come to naught. You're wasting your time because they're in union with their power, right?
Because the Most High that hateth iniquity was with them.
Right.
But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs.
Hey, can I get a quick precept real quick? All right? Because it said, read that part again.
Verse 18. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles.
In many battles. All right? So that conquering as the brother was going into, all right, we were subject to all these things. Because what basically blocks a city from invading the walls. All right? So real quick, a precept we always bring out, Jeremiah 14:2. Judah's warning, and the gates thereof languish.
Let's do Job.
The gates thereof language, the leadership, man.
Let's
All right,
Job.
our leaders, the ones that are
Let's
supposed
Job.
to bring us, keep
Let's
us
do
in,
Job.
basically in contact, keep
Let's
the
do
law,
Job.
and show us the way, man.
Let's do
All right,
Job.
in language.
Let's do
Therefore,
Job.
what our walls are down, and then the enemy's able to
Let's
come
do
in.
Job.
Okay, it says they are black
do-
unto the ground.
Let's do
The
Job.
cry of Jerusalem is going up. The leadership, man.
I know.
Our leadership
You're a
was cast
liar.
down. The Lord took it away from us. All right, that head. Go up. You got it.
I got it. Precept real quick. Sirach 36, verse 25. Ecclesiastes 36, verse 25. It says, where no hedges, there the possession is spoiled. So where there's no hedge, the possession, the things that are precious, and that thing that's supposed to be hedged, going to a fortress of a city, then what? That city gets conquered, it gets spoiled. Things get taken out of it.
Hey, that's why it gives double honors to the elders that rule well. That's the gates. You feel what I'm saying? That's the gates. Those, where do we learn the truth from them? So that's the gates. All right, the protection.
And the Lord is our defense.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
they took us away from the Lord. They took away our defense.
Yep. So the city, it's the people. All right. So the elders will be the gates.
Good point. Because
All right.
the scripture says the like teachers are not being found in the corner anymore. Those teachers being the elders, now they're no more hidden away. Now they're playing in the middle of the city, easily found. Like, oh yeah, that's the entrance to the city right there.
That's the protection Yahweh Shai is set up, man. All right. That hedge, casting down strongholds. Anytime any false doctrine, anything come up, the elders are there. All right, and to protect the sheep. You know.
And then that's why these nations going to Esau Edom, he has a problem with us keeping his ways, because the formula is we keep the ways of the Lord, we're going to prosper. And that's why this kingdom is falling, because of our obedience with the Lord. So we say obedience is better than sacrifice. So what you see here is nonsense and a waste of time. Well, this is what again the Lord is desiring for us to turn back on Him. Because again, that's why we fell. All right, we got divided, we fell. Okay, and now we're being brought together. Now we're as a unit, one doctrine. All right, because that's what the devil wants to do. He wants to play God. He wants to say, oh, the world's under one banner. Okay, and it's all in the wickedness. So the Lord got different plans for this world. It's for righteousness. Okay, righteousness to reign. which is keeping the ways of the Lord. Okay?
That's right. Buddy,
I got some real
come and
quick.
continue.
The point
Continue.
is verse 5.
You
I'm gonna
speaking
start verse
that
4.
word. Come
Jeremiah
continue.
chapter 5 and verse
Continue,
4.
buddy. You
Therefore
talking all
I
this
said,
shit.
surely
Hey, man.
Continue.
these
Calm down,
are
back
poor,
up, man.
Now calm down.
they are
Fuck
foolish,
up. Say, I knew
for
you
they
said
know not the way of the Lord, nor the judgment of their power. Verse 5, this is the point. I will get me unto the great men, and will speak unto them, for they have known the way of the Lord, and the judgment of their power. But these have altogether broken the yoke and burst the bonds. All right, but the point, all right, was like the brother said, the gates being the elders, man. So the wadi how about Shimi outside for Isaiah 30 and 20, us seeing the prophets, man, us seeing our teachers, so that what we can be called Isaiah 58, what, the repairer of the breach, man. We're repairing the breach, the old places, man, the old waste places, man. Start with us being the people before we're a place. That's the great building of the house of David, man.
Yep, and that's what these nations are trying to do. They're trying to disrupt our buildings. We're trying to build back, the temple, which is us. As we quoted it, ye are the temple of the Lord, right? We're trying to build, okay? But these nations are trying to frustrate our purpose by what? Cutting down our videos, trying to demonize us, right? Eventually try to put hands upon us, all right? Well, the Lord's, hey, he's with his men now, okay? So now what you gonna do, right? That's why we encourage you devils to do what you gotta do, because all it's gonna do is bring forth the Lord's right hand, okay? Which is gonna bring you out with shot. Right, and then go into again the building. You have the elders, the apostles, goes into pillars, right? And that foundation is the Halbashim shot. Go ahead.
They're going to that building. This is the book of Ezra, chapter 4, verse 12. This is in the time of us rebuilding the temple. Be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are coming to Jerusalem, building the rebellious and the bad city, and have set up the walls thereof and joined the foundation. Be it known unto the king that if this city be built and the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so thou should and damage the revenue of the kings. Now because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor, therefore have we set and certified the king, that search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers. So should thou find in the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city, and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time, for which cause was this city destroyed. Basically going into like, hey, whenever we a whole nation, man, we're a problem, because we got the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashin Yahushua amongst us, man, and these nations fear that. So back in that time of Ezra and Nehemiah, in the rebuilding of the temple, hey, you had wicked Jakes, those other heathen nations trying to slow us down from rebuilding. That's why the Lord did away with that. That's why it's a spiritual temple now.
That's right.
Real quick, Nehemiah, because the brother spoke on it, 2 and 18. It says, Then I told them of the hand of my power which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, Let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work. But when Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arabian heard it, they laughed us to scorn and despised us and said, What is this thing that ye do? Will ye rebel against the king? Then answered I them and said unto them, The God of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore, we his servants will rise and build. But ye have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem.
And that's why they call us troublemakers, okay? Because again, this is a direct shot to you other nations, okay? That the Lord he's dealing with his men, okay? And that means for you, you're losing your power, okay? Things about when that Mortal Kombat game came out with Jax, that one bitch was crying because you go into you play the story mode, you do the tower, and you pretty much complete the story for a character. Well, what happened with Jax is he was a king, okay?
Yeah,
and that one woman was crying, talking about pretty much the concept is you can't have two people in power. If one people get rised up, that means another person's going down. And that's what Esau is scratching his head, because again, he knows he's losing his power because he sees the Lord, the temple being built right in front of his eyes.
That was it on that.
Amos 9 and verse 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise it, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. All right, and that's what's happening, man. 1 Corinthians the 15th chapter, okay, the 23rd verse, okay, by Yahushua being the first fruits. All right, every man in their order, man. This is what Yahweh Shai rightfully is doing, pursuing the revelation of the 7th chapter, man. All right, those 12,000 men out of these 12 tribes. All right, the government, they're being raised up, man. Some asleep, and some of those men, which we hope to be a part of that number. All right, we're waiting to be allotted, all right, and joined in this marriage. All right, until Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, the bride, all right, adorned for her husband, man. You see?
I got a quick one to go with that. This is Jeremiah chapter 31, and I think it's verse 28. Yeah, it's Jeremiah 31, and I'll start at verse 27. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of men and with the seed of beasts. And it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith the Lord. So that's what we see happening now. The Lord, the Spirit of the Lord is over his house, okay, the house of David, the Bayat Dawodan. The Lord is raising up those tabernacles again, man. That's why none can be done against this truth, man. Okay, Gamaliel even recognized that. He said, watch what you do against these men. For if it be a man, it'll come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, you shall surely be found fighting against the Lord, man. And that's what these other nations don't understand. Yeah, they came up against us. They try to hinder up the building of the temple. They don't understand that this time is a spiritual thing. They're still carnally thinking that, oh, they're gonna try to raise up and even them calling themselves the Hebrew Israelites. It is a black Hebrew Israelite movement. They're trying to take over. You got groups like these guys that got these t-shirts that says we got next. What do you got next on the earth, man? The Lord said, the king, let thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So the will of the Lord that's going to be done on earth is what's being done in the heavens. We ain't got next over anything on this earth except the next rulership, but it's not going to be like what we see now. None of this is going to be like, of course we're going to have trees, we're going to have animals, we're going to have other people, but it's not going to be anything that you can even fathom.
It won't be buildings and shit like this.
Right.
I mean, it'll be going back to the ancient world, but in a whole nother way, you know, a fucking futuristic way, so to say, you know. But in a righteous way,
right,
where we don't have to, because all this to create was to destroy the earth at the same time, you know. The infrastructure of the kingdom of heaven is going to be righteous, you know. So it ain't going to be fucking 18-story buildings, cars, traffic jams, you know, concrete, you know, asphalt that poisons the earth and poisons you when they're making it. You ever smell fresh asphalt or tar? Our street's gonna be paved to gold, you know, which gives you benefits. Everything of this society is to destroy you. Tires. You ever smell burnt rubber? So everything here is to destroy the earth and you.
Building on that point in Amos 9 and 11 verse. Amos chapter 9 verse 11. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 31. I got something after this too. It says, what shall we then say to these things? If the Most High be for us, who can be against us? All right, go ahead.
It's all prophecy. You know, us going into captivity. Again, we quoted, went into a little bit Daniel's 2nd chapter about these nations that will be raised up, you know, and then eventually thrown down. What do you think what's going to happen next? Okay, the rest of the story got to play out. Okay, you nations had your time. You know, so now the Lord then was men again. Now it's a problem. You didn't have a problem when he was on cargo slave ships, right? He just said, who shall bemoan thee, right? Nobody's asking how thou doest. Nobody's saying let's restore the nation of Israel. I called them who their true name is, their true identity. No, let them be niggas, let them do music videos, let them smoke blunts, okay? Drifts and Hellcats, right? Be a menace to society, right? That's cool, because we can control that. We can keep the narrative, we can paint them in the image that we want to be painted as, and eventually they're going to be done away with, right? But not with this narrative. Right, the narrative of again us raising to our power and keeping the ways of the Lord. Okay, this is righteousness, right? But now they got a problem with that. Okay, us want to stop eating unlawful foods and calling upon the true name of the Lord. Now that's the problem. And why is that? Because they're showing their hand. They're showing ultimately not for you. All right, and again that's why when the demonization comes and all that starts to play out, who's in the finger to start pointing at is going to be us. Just like the Roman Empire, they want to blame everything on so-called Christians. Okay, the true Christians, the followers of the Messiah. All right. You know, and that's why, again, the Lord's going to intervene because we got no defense besides our power. And that's the whole thing of us being built up, okay, because it's going to play into action, okay? This stuff that happened, these transitional powers, okay, this stuff really happened, okay, again, going to the history, okay, how does a nation transfer from one kingdom to another? It's violence, okay? It's not a peaceful thing. People die, people get hurt, people starve, okay? You know, so that's what happened here, so-called America. This empire, this kingdom, okay, is going down, okay? And it's going down, thus with violence, as Scripture said, book of Revelation 18th chapter, okay? And who's going to be next? It's a vacancy seat for power on earth. That's why nations is thinking that they're next. Moab, you know, Russia, Edomites over there, okay? You got Iran, okay? You got North Korea, South Korea, okay? These nations think they're up next. Turkey, they're coming together because their mindset is, hey, America's going down. We can see. We're going to let her bleed out, okay? And who's going to be next? We're going to sort that as we go, okay? But we know the issue is we got to blow up so-called America, all right? And that's, again, we read it in Revelation 17th chapter. That's going to play out because it's the will of the Lord. But it's not going to be in their favor. Psalm 2nd chapter says, why do the heathen rage? And the people imagine the vain thing. They're thinking that their government, their whatever their plans they got going on. And this sounds very extravagant, very detailed. It's like every villain in the movie. Very, very specific. Shit sounds good, and it just don't play out, okay? Because again, the real director of this movie is Yahweh Shai, and the underdog's going to win, okay? Going into the Lord's movie, we don't men, okay?
I got some, it's a few scriptures. Ezekiel chapter 36, and I'm going to start at verse 32. Not for your sakes do I this, said the Lord. Be it known unto you, be ashamed and confounded for your own ways, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, in the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your iniquities, I will also cause you to dwell in the cities, and the waste shall be builded, and the desolate shall be tilled, whereas it was laid desolate in the sight of all that pass by. All right, and what the Lord is building us up first by what? In the spirit, man. By this word. The scripture said in Baruch, the 5th chapter, okay, arise and stand, O Jerusalem, and face towards the east. All right, and look at your children gathered from the west. All right, and rejoicing in the word of the Holy One, man. So by this word, we're built and we're established, man. All right, but that building is physically going to be established too. Okay, when you see the men changed, all right, once we come down from those chariots, but it's starting the spirit, man. We're being built by this word. All right, the rock solid foundation on the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
Because, hey, you know, he say basically he's going to build us up in their sight. As he ruined us in their sight, he's going to build us up. And you'll think, oh, well, shit, if the Lord's building y'all up, y'all have nice cars. He gave y'all, you know, buildings and plenty of gold and all this stuff. Y'all just on the corners preaching. Well, hey, this is where it starts at, man. All right? Us getting us that form of worship back, getting our religion back. All right, that's us being built up, man. All right, the rest of everything else, that's irrelevant. That's gonna come. That's gonna come too. But man, look, this being built up, man. This is our strength right here. The ministry, man. All right, as I say, the priesthood. Okay. You know, we ain't gonna be under the Levitical priesthood no more. But you know, because all tribes gonna be priests. But basically, so to say, that priesthood again, man. Okay, this is that building up. This is where the power is at. This is where the true riches is at. Okay.
This is Ezekiel 37:9. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophecy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe unto these slain, that they may live.
And that's the word, you know. The inspiration, you know, goes into breath, you know. And that's again that the Lord gave us. It's good to say the flesh profit nothing. It's the spirit that quickened us. So we were in that dead state going into was how we were desolate. Well, of course, physically, you know, we had no continuing see. That's good to say. We still want to come, but inwardly, our knowledge, you know, of the Lord has been taken away from us. Okay, you know, the spirit of the Lord has been taken away from us. All right, and that's why again, us being raised up and giving back life again, that's a sign again to really show who the Lord's really dealing with. You know.
Yeah, one more verse. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army.
And what do armies do? They conquer, right? Armies ain't just there for fun, just dress up, and that's what you niggas do in the American army, all right? But it's because there's a reason why these armies getting raised up to make war.
Because it's a spiritual battle that was cast upon us. That's where it started at first. Okay? You know, so we look. This is it. This is that army. We spirit. You know, we in a spiritual war. All right, because Jacob go gather arms and go up against Esau and then get blown away. He wonder like, damn, why didn't I beat him? Because it started in the spirit first. You got to overcome this man in the spiritual war. Then what? Then it's gonna physically manifest itself. Okay. We are Lord willing. We those men. We are spiritual army men. All right. And we that's why we've risen up. Okay. For the nation ultimately. Okay, it's gonna start with elect. The only elect gonna make it, but then what? The rest of the nation gonna come back to us if we be those men, Lord willing. You know.
You know, that also clearly indicates the time that we're in right now, man. You know, going into the breath of life. All right, us getting back our heritage, our identity. You know, those laws, statutes, commandments. You know, we understanding that this is what connects us back. You know, honoring the Lord. Because the Lord said, "What if you love me? Honor my commandments." You know, that's that breath of life, man. You know, and now here it is, the elect is being woken up because now we're coming back to who we are, and we're coming back to our customs, our ways. You know, that made us immortal from the beginning. This is why this is like the brothers going in on the temple being built up, but it's being built up through spirit first, and it's indicating the end of times because we didn't know this. We didn't know the name of our Heavenly Father and our Lord and Savior. Okay, to call on, to get out of this trouble, to get out of this captivity, like we knew in Egypt and previous captivities. You know, so this is a clear indication that we in the end of the times, because we're seeing the men on the highways and byways, you know, waking up our people, man. Like it said in Colossians, the 1st chapter and the 26th verse, the mystery that had been hidden from generation and ages is now made manifest to his saints. The truth of the scriptures, man. Not these dogma, these false doctrines that has been misleading and confusing our people for ages. All right? This truth. Us being the true royal people of the scriptures. The chosen nation of the Most High.
Get back to that next 6. That's pretty much what we're flowing into, because now we're going into Lord building up Jacob, you know, the so-called niggas that teams and Americans, and the end of Esau. That's again, this is we're going into the prophecy of it. Okay, and it started first us waking up to who we are, you know. Where we left off, yeah.
All right. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the part sender of times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
So there you go. So Esau is the end of the world. That's going to be the last nigga to be in power before we get put in power. Okay, and that power that the Lord's given, we already had it. It's in a form that you can't really comprehend, right? But it's going to physically manifest because we live in a three-dimensional or four-dimensional world, right? But again, how we deal, again, going to the spiritual realm, right? Our communication, how we communicate with the Lord, is in a higher vibration than the Lord can really than the world can really comprehend right now. All right, but again, going to a transfer, we was talking about earlier how seasons, it's not just abrupt, you know, changes in season, it's a gradual, you know. So the turning of tables, that's a gradual thing. Esau started losing his grip and power when the Lord raised up Abba Bivens being John the Baptist, you know, Malachi back, not Malachi, going into, it's in the book of Malachi, going into Elijah, you know, raising up to pretty much get us ready to return back to the Lord, you know.
Just like with the sun, all day the sun is like moving slow. But you can actually see when the sun moving, when it starts setting, it's like, damn, like the sun was just right there, and then it just moved, it just get dark that fast. That's basically how it's gonna happen. All right, this man, once he get to a certain point, which is when he ministered his mark, it's just gonna see that sun just move on his ass.
It's the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, like if you just go at the beach, or at least here on the west coast of Florida, we can see the sunset.
Yeah.
You know, the sun's literally, you can see it moving, like you said, because that's the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
and that's
moving
Esau's the end of his day, and the beginning is Jacob's. You know,
All day
because
you
the
can
day
see
begins
moving.
at evening.
Yeah.
So the end of Esau is when the sun sets. Except he ain't riding off in the sunset. You know,
Sunsets in the west.
You know?
Yeah, sunsets in the west. Few verses. 2nd Ezra chapter 8, verse 63. Behold, O Lord, now hast thou showed me the multitude of the wonders which thou wilt begin to do in the last times, but at what time thou hast not showed me. According to the 9th chapter, verse 1, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
This information is crucial, right? You know, this information is very important to know, and that's why, again, going to the rulership of the wicked, if it was up to them, they would have got away with the information. You know, hide it somewhere like they do the majority of things they hide, right? But the Lord said, hurt not the oil and the wine. Okay, he couldn't do nothing to this truth because, again, prophecy had to play out. He's subject to prophecy, right? If he wanted to, we all be dead. Why are we still here? You know, all the atrocities happened to our people. You know, the millions died on the way over here. You got the northern tribes already over here, killing by the boatloads. Okay, and we're still here because why? Because prophecy. You know,
that's another thing. Basically, the angel let him know, hey, Esau gonna be in power before Jacob. You know, before we get the rise. So he asked me, okay, you showed me the times, but when? All right, I know who's gonna be in power, but how long? You know, when? All right, going into verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders, and powerful works and endings and effects and signs.
So crystal clear evidence that, again, you know what's going on. Like, you know, the difference between day and night. You know, crystal clear evidence that it's good to say. You just read. You know, that's everything has a beginning and an end. Okay, and it's good to say the end is manifest, meaning it's brought forth. All right, the end again of this age, the end of this eon, this time frame is again by the signs the Lord left us. That's why it goes into the significance of the watcher. Okay, because they're watching for these things to warn you. Okay, Ezekiel with 3rd chapter, the Lord set up watchmen. Okay, for the nation of Israel to warn you of these signs. Okay, that you've been negligent of. Okay, willing ignorant of. Okay, that you're not taking serious until, like to say, as the day of the Lord shall be the day of, as the days of Noah shall be the days of the coming of the Son of Man. Okay, because people don't take heed until it's too late. Okay, but that don't got no excuse onto you because again you've been warned. It's up to you to deal with how you deal with the warning. The majority of people are not going to take heed onto that warning. So this is crystal clear evidence again to tell you the time when. It's the signs that we're watching. Right there, you go into a ledger, look at a map. Well, that's that. So again, it's crystally understood by ultimately who the elect. Okay, the mysteries the Lord left are for them, so they can discern the times. What Book of Malachi, discern between those that serve the Most High and those who don't. Okay, because again, it's all about judgment. Okay, where are we in time according to prophecy? We're in the end. Okay, and we're clearly breaking it down to you. Okay, that's it on that.
If I can make a quick point, because people always be like, well, they've been saying it's the end of the world so many times. How do you know? How do you know for those asking? How do you know for those asking that question? Well, they said it was the end of the world during this period. Paul thought the world was going to end during his time. All right, they thought the world was going to end during World War I. They thought it was the end of the world, so on and so forth. Well, consider all the main factors. For one, when have you seen so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans talking about we're the Israelites, standing on the corners prophesying? Take that into consideration. This is a time like no other. You ain't never seen the so-called black man in America within the last, 40 years, the truth coming out. You ain't never seen us coming out here talking about we're the Israelites. Consider another thing, the MOTB. That technology wasn't around World War I during Paul's age. Okay, so here it is now. You have RFID technology. All right, consider another thing. Nukes, yeah, you say through the Cold War, they was close to nuke, but now they say we close to a nuclear war than prior to the Cold War. So add all three of those things together and put them together. It's like, yeah, this is actually a time like no other, man. Okay.
And the Apostle Paul said that day should not come, said they'll come and falling away first. And at that time, like you were going to the time of the Romans, they knew there was Israelites. So that falling away have not came yet. He also said to the man of perdition be revealed. So Esau, Edom haven't been revealed until this time. So like Brother wanted to making it crystal clear that we in the end of the end days.
And speaking on what the brother had made a point, you read that in the book of Daniel. The scripture says how knowledge was going to increase. Okay, so we living in that last days that the brother was going into, the chip
all right, the charagma, all right, you see the technology, all these things have increased in the last year, showing you what, where we are at the end. These things wasn't before time. John the Revelator, he's seen these things when you read in the book of Revelations. All right, so showing you that the things that John the Revelator see, we're seeing these things in this time, so it's showing you that we right at the end, okay? Right at the end. Going to the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, I'm gonna start at verse 9. It says, the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance.
Yep. So again, how the story had to play out. Okay, how should had to do? He had to do. Okay, to turn us back onto the Lord, being that sacrifice. Right, as he said, I come not to destroy man's life, but to save. Right, to turn us back onto the Lord. Okay, being that mediator, which he is now. Okay, sitting on the right hand side. All that has to play out on the time. Okay, for him to come and return. Right, to fight against what Revelation 12th chapter talks about that war in heaven. We're going to get back to that technology. How would that happen back then? Okay, so Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, his angels. When does that happen? Okay, it has not. Okay, because that technology didn't come to fruition yet as far as the prophecy, as the Lord speaks before these things come to pass. Technology had to catch up with, we'll get that in day. Technology had to catch up with prophecy of the Lord, you know?
Because scripture said that the Most High is not slack, you know, so the Lord is on his own time, man, you know? But this is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 37, because the brother also was going into that technology wasn't here as of yet. And like he just quoted Revelation, the 12th chapter, that war in heaven, Michael and his angels against Satan and his angels. But this is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 37. Now, I'm going to start at verse 36. And unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them answer and said, even when the number of seas is filled in you, for he hath weighed the world in the balance. By measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. Hey, so the Lord, he's on his own time. Everything is perfect. Like we just was quoting, that technology wasn't here at that time. So he does not move or stir the time until that said measure be fulfilled. So now that technology is here, and what scripture say we know in part and we prophesy in part, you know, now that the technology is here, you can see that the ball is rolling. Like the Apostle Paul always say, hey, these prophecies, they go start speeding up. You know?
Because everything's about time. He's known as the Ancient of Days. Right? Think about how your engine runs off time. Think about how a computer runs off time. These algorithms. You know, algorithm is pretty much a problem solver. Right? So Lord's algorithm, these prophecies, they're gonna play out how the formula has been created for it to play out. Okay? He's not gonna add or subtract or nothing besides what he intended. It's playing out again as we see going through the book. You know?
And they said he weighed the world in a balance, and the scriptures tell you that a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. He's all his judgments are righteous. Everything he do is perfect. You know, he said that everything brings out the goodness of another. You know, roughly paraphrasing Sirach.
Daniel 12 and 4. Come on now. It says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end.
And that happens. You know, that's why again going into how things got to play out. With understanding had to be unlocked. Ezra was crying at that time, saying, "Woe is me, woe is me." Who should deliver me in that day? Because again, the seals have been cracked, the mysteries have been cracked open by Yahweh's sacrifice. You know, he was able to loose the seals, okay, for us to understand and go into the role. Okay, the little book the Lord left us to be able to what? To be able to be comforted, okay, by His words. Okay, that He had to go, like He said. If I don't leave, you're not going to see the Comforter. It's all about the word of the Lord. Okay, so read again.
Yeah, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end.
Yep, because even Daniel, there's certain things that wasn't at that time broken down to Daniel. It was broken down to Ezra. So he tells you that. Okay, certain visions, you know, that Daniel received, you only got a certain portion of it. The rest of it was given to Ezra. Okay, but how much more now in this time? Okay, now we have the complete spectrum, as we like to bring out. Know in part and prophesy in part, right? So when the thing that's in part comes to pass, we can see as it is, right? And that's how we see these prophecies as it is. It's crystal clear. There's no fog. Okay, it's clear as day. Okay, and more and more it's gonna be crystal clear. Ultimately, how this devil gonna play it out? Because you know what he's gonna do. All right, now is how is he gonna take these steps, including the steps to do what he wants to do. Ultimately, the Lord wants to do is put that chip out. Okay, which we're watching for.
It says, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
Yep, so now it's going to be increased. As you look at now in year 2022, the technology you see here now is far advanced than back then 2,000 years ago, even more beyond then, okay? Simple, same concepts. You got chariot, you got wheels, you got horses. It's just advanced, okay? got things that are recording devices, okay? You know, it all just advanced, all right? So again, going to things advancing, as you would say, the Lord opened up his armory, okay? The armory is these thermonuclear missiles, okay?
Real quick, through the spirit, I was like to go into missile or gun is just basically a projectile.
Yes, sir.
All right, a slingshot. When David used a sling, whether it was one of the ones you take like this and throw it, whether it had some elasticity, all right, the power is simple physics. It's just a projectile. With rubber band, that's just the energy used to project that rock. Okay, now it's rocket used to project what the warhead. So the Lord has it's simple physics, but He just gave men the wisdom or the technology to be able to just make that projectile go so much faster and to go from one end and further and go from one end of the earth to another. But if you look at it, it's basically a slingshot. Missile is a slingshot. A gun is a slingshot. All right, just what propels the bullet? Gunpowder. You feel what I'm saying? Gas that hits it, the explosion. You feel what I'm saying? So it's all of it's basically simply a slingshot. It's just the technology. Knowledge shall be increased. The technology has been used to just project it to something man has never seen before. You know?
Yeah, that's another clear indication that we in the end.
Yeah.
Because like the brothers is going in on, are we not? It's a clear indication. Are we not at the end? Has knowledge not been increased on the left hand side, going in from the technology of Esau, and ultimately the knowledge on the right hand side of us getting this truth. You know, it's clearly the end of times.
Exactly as well with the internet, right? Majority bulk of how we've been woken up to this word, right? The elders and apostles putting the word out, the Spirit hitting them to put it on the YouTube, okay? This gospel literally been preached throughout the four corners of the earth. That's how that was possible by the technology being increased. You know, how in the ancient times would the message be portrayed by horse and rider, okay? With envelopes and scrolls, you know? Now it's just text messages, you know? So again, the technology had to be increased.
The simple thing of freaking spring. You know, you're young, you play with the toys or something, it's spring loaded. That's metal, all right? And that metal technology was introduced to humans at one point in time.
Yeah.
Now, somebody came up with the idea, the wisdom was given unto them. How about you take the metal and you twirl it into a spiral and compress it and then do something to release it, and it's going to, it went from something so simple, then it just got so sophisticated as the years go by, and it's just simple physics, just projecting something from one place to another. You know, that's it.
Matthew 24:14. This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And that's what is going on right now. You know, this gospel has been preached about the whole earth.
And why?
Like the brothers going in.
The internet.
Yep.
The time Paul had to travel
Yep.
to get the message from one place to another. Now we don't have to do that. Now the message gets to people live. And if you ain't doing it live, as soon as you upload it, bing, anybody can view it. So, like you said, the right-hand side, yep, the unicorns, as the brother said, Job, but it increased on the right-hand side too. All right, we can send a message to a brother like that, send the gospel to a brother like that, you know?
Yep. And it says this gospel. What is gospel? Good news, man. You know, what is that good news? Because that ain't that bullshit Christianity dogma that they teaching, that our Lord and Savior was a so-called white man and he died for the whole world's sins. That's contrary to the scriptures, man. Okay? So what's the good news is our Lord and Savior was a so-called dark-skinned man, came from the tribe of Judah. He was one of our people. He died for our people. You know? And the scriptures verify that. Okay? So that's a part of the good news. Us being a part of the Lord's chosen nation of people, man. That's a part of the good news. Our enemies is going to be destroyed. Okay? We have salvation. We're going to be saved from this hell, and we're going to rule. And we're going to live in eternal peace. Because this is our hell. And like they say, the white man's heaven is the black man's hell. And clearly this is our hell. Because throughout the whole earth, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans is at the bottom of every society. Serving the curses that's in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter and the 15th verse up. that's the gospel, you know.
That gospel going into that doctrine. So now that true doctrine has been spread out, and like you read in the book of Daniel, just said, seal it up, you know, for the time of the end. But technology should increase, and also that doctrine that came down, that true doctrine, it spread out amongst the internet. Like your eyes can behold your teachers. So ultimately, the Lord, like He said, He do not move those 30 times to said measure be fulfilled. So it just everything is beautiful. So this is Revelation chapter 22, and I'm gonna read verse 10. It says, "And He saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy for this book." Selected. He said unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. So that's when you know, because the time of Daniel, Yahushua had not came yet. So now, after Yahushua, he done came, he have loosed the seals. He was the only one worthy to loose the seals, and with the Lord been the ultimate chess player.
Yeah, because the prophets back then, they been wanting to figure this thing out, right? They just asking questions, Jeremiah asking questions, all the prophets asking questions, you know, concerning our people, what's going on, all right, what's next, why is this happening? But, you know, they had to play out, okay? Again, going to what Yahushua had to do, he had to come on the scene, all right, to fulfill all things, right? So again, that's why going into, again, the Lord He's not going to be stirred or can you hurry up, please? Like, no, man, the Lord going to move when He want to move, right?
It's a pressure order.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, real quick, Luke chapter 10, verse 24, is Yahushua speaking. "For I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them."
Right, and all that they've been waiting for and wishing to hear and see, it's happening now, and this is going to turn back. We're at a point now of no return. This is thousands of years of waiting. Abraham waiting for that promise, still, right, fully, you know, all our forefathers. Of course, even Yahushua, he's waiting. We're all waiting, you know. So now we're gonna pack it up, and now this is what we're talking about is bull crap. It's all a joke. Yeah, right. Okay. All the times our prophets, you know, our forefathers died. Okay, in the faith, not seeing the promise. Okay, to where they are now, they can see it. It's not. There's no going back. This is the time now. That's why we're supposed to be excited. Okay. You know, the ancient mindset of our forefathers, we're gonna rule again. Okay. Rulership mentality. We want scepters. We want rulers. We want rulership. You know, we're tired of being on the bottom. That's a real man. And that's what the Lord's dealing with. All this joint hand in hand, that's weakness. That's what made us weak. We got defiled, okay? Diluted, you know, dealing with these nations. There's no good, okay? So how about now you turn to your power and watch what's going to happen? Look what's happening, you know? People scratch their head and say, what's going on? Because the Lord's raising up His men. The town ain't big enough for the both of us, okay? Somebody got to sit in that seat, and He saw you getting out. You can get that eventually, Isaiah 47 chapter.
I got a picture just to back you up. This is Ezekiel 23 and 30. "I will do these things unto thee because thou hast gone a whoring after the heathen, and because thou art polluted with their idols." You know, backing the brother up on what he said. You know, having the mind frame of these heathens, taking after their customs. The scripture said what? Go not in the way of the heathen, man. Okay? Because the Lord made us to be a holy nation of people, which the word holy means separate. Okay? And what separated us from these heathen nation of people, these beasts, okay, is the law. All right? Us being able to conduct ourselves in a godly manner, you know? But instead of us honoring our Heavenly Father, because what Israel failed to realize, according to the scriptures, all right, Israel is what? Likened onto a calm and delicate woman. All right? So we're the Most High's woman. Okay? When you go into that word woman, we are His servant, man. Okay? We are His servant. Just like how our women was created to be our servant, our help, we was created to be the Most High's servant and help, man. Okay? His ambassadors, you know? But instead of us being loyal, okay, we went whoring.
Yep.
Okay? We committed spiritual adultery, spiritual fornication. Okay? And that's why we're in this predicament that we're in now. But soon, those curses is going to be lifted from us, and we're going to be placed back in rulership after our punishment is served.
This is Ezekiel 12 and 21. "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel? Saying, the days are prolonged, and every vision faileth."
And that's, again, the mindset of our people has been going on since back then. Lack of faith, no patience, right? They can't wait for, again, the prophecies. They're not watching the prophecies. They want to do their own thing, right? And that's 2/3 of our people. The wicked of our people, constantly over and over, rebelling, okay? You know, and they're in the mindset, well, hey, man, you've been saying this for how long, okay? You know, because they're not, they're not watching for the signs, man. They're not in unison with the will of the Lord. Okay, they got other things in plan. All right, and the other things in plan is to join with the heathen. With now modern day terms, they want to build up, communities and shit like that. Well, the Lord said, "Love not the world, you things are in the world." Okay, if you love the world, love the Father not in you. That's like foundation precepts when the word the Lord is upon you. Okay, you're supposed to not love the world no more. Okay, because the Lord got bigger plans for us. Jake want to say, "I'm a king, I'm blessed," and all this other stuff. But when we start bringing out, we're gonna get our own kingdom, we're gonna rule on the other nations. Okay, so that's too much. That ain't right. What about the white man? Is he in the book? But that's the backwardness of our people. That shows how low we've been brought down to the ground, man. But that's why, again, call all y'all about your shot for that remnant.
Verse 23. Tell them, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them, the days are at hand, in effect of every vision.
Yep, man. Jake feel it in his bones. You want to keep ignoring it, or you have a lot of distractions, but like the saying goes, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they want to kill you. All right? At first they wouldn't give us no play, no attention. They come up, eventually they started dressing, talking about posting us on down. They want to come up and scoff. Okay, y'all wearing dresses and all that stuff. And now what? Because what's getting ready to happen is the demonization. We're going to paint in a bad light, which, so what? Okay, the Lord said the world hates you, hated me first, right? They're going to start pointing fingers at us. Like it says in the John 16 chapter, them that killed us thinking they're doing the Most High service, but they're doing a disservice, and ultimately that's their condemnation, But again, when these things start coming to pass, they're going to start pointing fingers, blaming us. You guys are fault. You guys are being naughty. You guys are being rebellious. Why don't you just listen, be quiet, be a good nigga, Hush up, let Master, do what he got to do, okay? And we're saying, hell no. The Lord said you're going to raise up your men and not going to bow that knee, okay? And the Lord's with that, okay? He's not with all this comfy, chilling spirit, okay? It's about being uncomfortable, taking out your comfort zone. That's what you see here. We're taking out our comfort zone. You think we want to just chill too? We want to watch TV, whatever the hell we got going on. But we out here what? Proclaiming our faith, okay? Making good on our holding fast to our profession, as we just say. And it's a great reward for this, okay? What?
Verse 24, for there shall be no more vain vision nor flattering divination within the house of Israel.
Yep.
For I am Yahweh, and I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass, it shall be no more prolonged. For in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word, and I will perform it, saith the Lord power.
Yep. And this is that generation, okay? This is that same wicked generation. That's why there's so many souls on earth right now, because there's going to be a great judgment for all these souls on earth right now. All these, as we say, every other word, okay? These things are, you might have forgot, you might have died, came alive, died, came back again. But that's still recording in the heavens, And that's why we go into what they did the outside, let his blood be upon us and our children, right? With the Satanians did the outside poking them, okay? All that stuff, as they say, even them that pierced them shall see. Everybody's seeing, because it says after the second chapter, the vision is going to speak for itself, all right? These things, they're speaking for themselves. This nation, if you have enough for war, this man about to put a chip out. What do you have to say now, okay? You have nothing to say, because ultimately the word of the Lord, that's what's coming to pass, and you nation, you people get ready to put your silence,
Again, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, behold, they in the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come. And he prophesieth of the times that are far off. Therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord power, there shall none of my words be prolonged anymore, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord power.
And the Lord's sovereign. You don't got to ask permission for you. Should I do this? What you think? This is what he said he's going to do. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. As you just say, his word's not going to return unto him void. But that's what's happening. So you got it? Get it.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it.
Yeah, and again, the Lord's in the heavens. You just say, thus save the high and lofty one. He has to humble himself to deal with us. The heavens can't contain the Lord. So when he speaks to us, that's why he sends men to speak to you, because he's too powerful.
Hey, well, picture like a father talking to his son. You got to scoop down, to talk to, come down to your level.
Yep, and that's what the Lord did, But again, his timing is different. He's in a whole other realm than what you see right now. He's in the heavens, man, in the spiritual realm. So when he speaks, again, we're going to get into it. The timing's different, Time moves a lot slower to us up there than down here.
Just like everybody can attest to this when you pray. you pray for something, and it might be like a month or two, or sometimes Lord do it right then and there, but it would be like a month or two before it happens. But you be like, man, I come to realization, everything I pray for, it come, but just come when, in His timing. Yeah, in due season. It don't come when you think it's, when you think it should come, it always come. You recognize, like, man, I didn't pray for this, but like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And you think it was a long time, but hey, it's gonna come when the Lord, deems it.
Yeah, now when you want it, when you need it,
Exactly.
He see it fit.
Then it's not going to come as far as how you expect it to.
Right.
And the Lord will bring it, He'll give it to you, but it's not going to be to your expectations. You probably might not even get it until later on. Be like, damn, that's what the Lord actually came through. I see why He made me do that. I see why He caused this to happen in my life. So I see. You know what I mean?
Because that time in between, that's what they say, when you ask certain things, it's supposed to ask in faith. And that faith, that's that burning process while you wait for what you ask for. Because if you just got everything instantaneously like the world does, you wouldn't need no faith. Microwave society. Okay, I want everything quick. Can't wait 2 seconds in the grocery line. Start sucking your teeth and getting pissed off. People can't wait at the light. The light turned green not even half a second. Somebody's beeping already. No patience. So if you can't wait for it, then you're not going to receive it. All right. And that's why again the Lord talks about us, suffering with Him. So we can reign with Him. That's again going to the things of patience.
Yeah, that's like a formula towards godliness, because see, Esau has conditioned us to, with society, you know what I mean? He has conditioned the people to what? Want that instant gratification. They want to instantly be pleased, and that's the spirit of an Epicurean. But the Lord, what? He basically reconditioning us to be patient, which patient is long suffering, and to be patient and to take on suffering. Right? Is what? That's a stoic spirit, That's a stoic mind frame. So, that's a difference. Because Epicureans cater to the flesh,
Like the party lifestyle. As the scriptures say, that they shall be lovers of themselves. Well, this is an Epicurean society. Do what makes you feel good. Doesn't matter what other, it just identifies what you want. Do what you want. Doesn't matter. Whatever makes you feel good, even though it might destroy you, it might be completely ass backwards. It doesn't matter. It's all about what makes you feel good.
And the patience, what quality brings out of it is you appreciate once you receive what you ask for. Because we did have it at one time, we had it all. So to say, just run wax, fact, and kick, well, that's because we didn't appreciate what we had. We got proud. We forgot the rock that begat us, and that's why now the Lord brought us down low so we can acknowledge our faults, for us to humble ourselves in His sight, because again, we weren't given the attention that He deserved, we weren't given the thanks He deserved, we thought we had it, and that's why again the Lord took what we had, and now we appreciate what we don't have, because now we don't have it and we want it back, and that's the kingdom. That's right.
It's the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, and start at verse 8.
Wherever you
All right. I go up to 8. Verse 8, it says, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day."
Exactly. So that means you got to humble yourself down, okay? And going into, as what King David said, 1,000 years as but yesterday unto you, right? That should show you how insignificant you are, One day to the Lord is 1,000 years unto you, And you're asking Him to do certain things that, again, He's been waiting. Hey, man, just like we've been waiting, But again, it says in Esdras, it says you're going to love your people more than me, You can't love the Lord's people more than He does, And that's why, again, we have to wait, But again, read that again.
2 Peter 3 and verse 8, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day."
Exactly. So again, the timing in the heavens is different. It seems like a long time down here, but it's not that long up there. Not at all, okay? Think about the days are flying past now, right? Well, again, how much more in the heavens, man? Things are moving really quick, And again, it just, because the point is we're watching all the time, so it kind of looks like it's going slow. If you think about something that's far off, think about an example as a plane. It looks like it's moving slow, but that thing is moving hundreds of miles an hour. If you come up close enough to it, it's flying, and that's how these prophecies are. And that's why, again, it's getting closer and closer. That's why the days are being shortened, because that time is being fulfilled. It's happening.
When you're going fast yourself, to you everything slows down. The faster you go, the slower things look. It's just, it's just this, that perception. But that's what it is. The faster you go, the slower things actually are. That's why, when you go into space, they say people age slower up there. Like the astronauts supposed to age slower up there.
Reads on, verse 9.
Why? We don't know. It's because it is what it is.
Verse 9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness.
When someone's slacking, he's dragging his feet. He's just taking his time, sweet time. The Lord says he's going to speedily avenge his elect. He says, behold, I come quickly. Does that mean the Lord's lying because it looks like a long time to us? No. You have to understand where he's coming from. He's speaking from the heavens, okay? And that's what it is, man. Go ahead.
Reads on, it says, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance.
Right, because imagine if the Lord did this, however many years ago, a lot of us wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be, calling him as Lord and remembering who we are. We all be through, So again, the Lord being long suffering, again, things had to play out. We had to be woken up. Okay, every man in his own order. All right, of course.
Yeah, he's bound by his word, and the prophecies had to fulfill. So it couldn't have been back then, because things had to play out. Technology had to advance. All kind of things. Back in 2000, things were like it is now. Even though these buildings are old as hell, but look, these bitches are run down. Nobody's even in there. But look at all this shit that's around here now. They got digital signs and shit, self-driving cars, Uber. Smartphones. None of this shit existed 15 years ago, man. Shit, even 10 years ago, 2012, shit. When I graduated high school back in 2011, shit, I had a fucking, what was it? I don't remember what kind of phone it was, but it was nothing close to what we got now. Shit, yeah, it was some bullshit compared to what we got now, shit. So, the times had to advance, man, to bring forth the prophecies, man, so we get closer to the return of the Lord.
So, if I can add to the elder brother's point, what man of sin had to be fulfilled, man. This devil that has been destroying this place, our enemy had to be revealed, man. So that we can be able to analyze what's contrary to the ways of our Heavenly Father, man. What's the right way? What's the wrong way? Like our elders always like to say, quoting our elders, that we had to learn our wickedness to appreciate righteousness, man.
It reads on, it says, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance.
And that's ultimately mercy from the Lord, man. So we all should be grateful for that great spirit. Like the brother pointed to, hey, a lot of us wouldn't even be in here, man. So the Lord is giving us a chance at salvation. So that's why the scriptures say, use not thy liberty to please the flesh, but use it to serve one another. This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 5. I'm gonna start at verse 44. Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that should be created therein. And I said, as thou hast said unto thy servant, that thou which givest life to all hast given life at once to the creature that thou hast created, and the creature bear it. Even so it might now also bear them that now be present at once. Because pretty much in this chapter, Ezra was asking the Most High, why you just didn't bring everybody here and judge them at once, And that's how we be, signed and crying, ready to get the hell up out of here. All right, verse 46, and he said unto me, ask the womb of a woman, and say unto her, if thou bringest forth children, why doest thou it not together, but one after another? Pray her therefore to bring forth 10 children at once. And I said, she cannot, but must do it by distance of time. And we read in the 4th chapter that the Lord did not move nor stir the time to the said measure be fulfilled. So ultimately, he's, like the brother I was pointing to, he's bound by his word, he's bound by prophecy. And at the same time, we got to be humble and grateful that we're here to even receive this word, man. That's right.
Yeah, that's so real quick. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 41. I'm going to start verse 40. It says, like as I have spoken now, so shall it also come to pass. For as the husbandman soweth much seed upon the ground, and planted many trees, and yet the thing that is sown good in his season cometh not up, neither doth all that is planted take root. Even so it is of them that are sown in the world, they shall not all be saved. Right? So not all in what the scriptures say, to receive the engrafted word which is able to save your soul, man. So majority of our people, all right, they're not going to believe in this truth, man. They're not going to believe in this word. Okay, why? Because the scriptures say the Lord will pour upon them the spirit of deep sleep, man. So it's not, the Lord does not want all of this world right now, man. Not all is going to be saved. The scriptures say the world to come is for few. That's why we understand the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, man.
And I was just gonna say, it's going into sowing, and you know, that's another thing. You know, our people don't grow up in like that planting and farming mentality, because agriculture, like farming, that's something that you can't cheat. You know what I'm saying? You only go reap what you sow. You know, if you don't plant, you ain't gonna yield nothing. And even if you do plant, you gotta wait on it. You know, it's a thing of patience. It's a thing of suffering. This is the book of James, chapter 5, verse 7. It says, "Be patient, therefore, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain." So, hey, even Yahushua, you know, he's waiting. You know, he said himself that no man, nor angel, nor him himself knows the time, but only the Father. Verse 8, "Be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh." Hey, so we just got to all be patient. You know, Ezra was hasty. You know, said, "Why do thou haste above the highest?" You know what I'm saying? We got to just be patient. You know, this is a plant thing. The Lord said his word will not return unto him void, that his word shall be fulfilled, that this generation shall not pass. So all things is going to come to pass, just, you know, in due season, man. In due season. But like the Apostle Paul said, use not the time of liberty, you know, for occasion to sin, occasion to the flesh. So we should be using this time to, hey, Lord willing, be found acceptable in that time. That's
even like you say, you go to agriculture, you can't cheat that. When Esau does, what you bring forth seed, fruits without seeds, which is bad for you. You feel what I'm saying? So it's no rushing. There's no rushing this, man. It's a set time and measure for all things to yield. All right. 2 Ezra 7:1, it says, "And when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights before. It says, and he said unto me, of Ezra, hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, it's like a but, put the case, the entrance were narrow like a river. You know, and that great sea, all right, that wide place is likened unto the kingdoms, man. Okay? Because when something's tight, man, it's hard to fit into. So the kingdom is that being that wide place, that's the pleasures. All right? How it's gonna be, it's gonna be easy for us in the kingdom, man. Nothing's gonna be hard for us. Just how Esau get away with things, it's broad for Esau in this way. But it's very thin for Jacob, all right, in Esau's kingdom. And it's very hard to get by. Jacob like, man, what Jacob always say, I'm just trying to get by. Because it's tight. But Esau is wide. He just goes right through. He can go left, right, up, down. All right, it's broad because why? This is his kingdom. Okay? So like the brother said, quoting the elders of our elders, we were put here for things to be tight. Okay? So we can enter into the bride. That's the whole thing. Okay? And when you're going through that tight space, you ain't just running through it. The scripture said be fire on one side and water on the other. So it's precautions, man. So it says, who then could go into that sea to look upon it and to rule it?
Yeah, so how you gonna get there unless you go through it? Rite of passage. You can't just teleport. You know, you gotta go through, you know, the hoops and loops and, you know, the dangers and things that are said before you can conquer something. You know, and that's again, we're trying to get to, we want to get to, again, things open up onto us, and that's the kingdom. Then go into that broad, which again, the turning of tables, this kingdom is very wide, right? You're going to get that, you know, that's why everybody wants to go into that wide, because they think it's ease. They think, ultimately, this is the kingdom on earth, you know? You can do what the hell you want to do, be you want to be. You can chase your careers and dreams, right? But all this ultimately is going into you being led to the path of destruction. okay, a big wide opening for you to fall into a narrow pit of destruction. You know, and that's what's happened to the world. The world's getting funneled. You think about a funnel. The funnel's real wide at the top, and it gets narrow at the bottom. That's what happened to this world. You know, and it's happening. It's been happening. You know, it's gonna get to a point where Jacob's trouble, our temptation. That's that. The straightest it's gonna get, man. That's gonna ultimately go into you people fall into that trap you've been led to fall into. You know.
That's right, being deceived, taking that chip. And then in Revelation 14:9 being played out, man, you being destroyed in the presence of the Holy Lamb and the angels, man. And those that got the victory over the beast, you know?
Yeah, and that goes into you ultimately have to make a decision, because you think about boxing, you cutting off the ring, you know, cutting off the angles to where your opponent can pretty much get busy, you know? If you cut off his ways of movement, that makes his job a lot harder, you know? Now he's on the ropes, you know? And now you can just do what you want to do with him, because guess what? The only thing he can do is try to defend himself. You know, and that's what ultimately people gonna try to do. Defending yourself is taking a chip, some type of release. You know, and that's the trap the devil wants to do on you. He wants to squeeze you, right? That's what a snake does. He wraps around you, and that's psychological. Imagine getting choked to death. All them things are going in your mind. What are you trying to think? Ultimately, I want to get free. I want to get free. So what's gonna be him loosen up? Say you gotta conform. You gotta do what I tell you to do. You know, you gotta tap out. You gotta say uncle. You know, and that's what a lot of people want to do. Especially our people. They've been saying uncle. They've been saying uncle hundreds of years. You know. And now it's going to be nothing for them to take that chip. They're already wicked as hell anyways. That's an easy transition, you know? That's why, again, man, that's why that remedy is so important, right? You can read it now.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction.
Right. There's many ways to destroy yourself, you know? There's many things you shouldn't do, you know? You're not supposed to do, right? And that's this world. Let you do everything you're not supposed to do. They give you ultimately license to sin. You know, you want to be a homo, do that. You know, you want to be whatever you want to be. You want to call yourself a man even though you're a woman, right? Do that. You know, you want to be a adulterer, do that. I'll even pay you. Go on the TV screen and do all that. You want to be a whore, shake your goods on the TV screen. I ain't gonna block your videos. You know, they'll slip up, your titties come out. I ain't gonna block it. I'm gonna let it stay on the internet. It's gonna get 1 million hits, right? But hey, don't be speaking the truth on my platform, you know? And that's again going to us striving to enter, meaning fighting. It's a hard path, you know? It's difficult, you know? And that's the path we're fighting, man. But ultimately it's already been laid and played out for us. Because the Lord said he's the author and finisher of our faith. We just gotta pretty much follow the path he left for us, which again he already conquered, you know?
And you can also liken that to doctrine too, because you even got other camps, you know, telling you can get the job, you know, promoting adultery, so on and so forth, man. So that show you that you gotta have that right doctrine, man, because broad is the way of destruction. You know what I'm saying? You can know you're an Israelite and just still just be out of there, man. So ultimately the Lord gotta be dealing with you in this thing, man.
It's very specific, you know. There's no gray area, you know, there's no straddling the fence. It is what it is. That's gonna say let your yea be yea, your nay be nay. Is it sound doctrine or not? Right? Because sound doctrine, if it's not, that means it's worshiping a God. You're worshiping a different deity. You know, you're following other rules that you're following a different vibration. The Lord didn't say that, you know. So that's why again it's to live is very specific. Okay, and all goes through Yahweh Shai and his law, statutes, commandments, you know.
Matthew 7 and 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat.
You know, that wide, you know, there's no resistance to be evil in this world. You know, you don't get no flack being evil. You know, you get encouraged, you get promoted, you know, coming out the closet, people start clapping for you. Oh, that was so brave, you know, because you're a bundle of sticks, you want to tell the whole world, you know. Now you're Israelite, oh, you're evil. You're a black Hebrew extremist, you know. And that's again going into that's how you know the whirlwind, you know, by, you know, your enemies, you know, things we do, all right, the reaction, the negative, because everything's balanced, you know, the opposite reaction here to being righteous is wickedness, you know. And it also starts with our own bodies, man, even our own flesh is against us, you know.
Verse 14, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
Straight is the way, meaning it's difficult, you know, it's not easy. Think about anything rewarding, it's not supposed to be easy, you know. Getting a six-pack or whatever, or, you know, building up your body or going to school and studying. It takes work, you know. If anybody just had this proof knowledge off the rip, hey man, wouldn't be need for work for it, you know. So how much more going to the kingdom? It's gonna be hard, you know. It's gonna be difficult. Someone get that book of Acts, much tribulation. Yeah, So we're not here to tell you it's going to be easy. It's going to be an easy road. You're Israelite. We're going to chill, drink some brews, right? Eat chicken and chill. No, man. The Lord said it's going to be rough. It's going to be hard. You're going to catch flack and people are going to give you hell. Because why? Because what you're fighting for is worth it. You know, that's the point.
Can I get this real quick? Yes. Yeah, just go what you wanted to. Sirach 33 and verse 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. You know, so backing the brother up. You know, these people are going to constantly be against you, even your own flesh. Why? Because the flesh itself is wicked. All right, you're going to constantly have people against you. Why? Because you're godly. The scriptures say those that conduct themselves in a holy conversation, man.
Hey, and if I can say this real fast, it's beautifully made. Those that conduct themselves in that godly conversation. Now, we do have points where people are physically at us, right? Sometimes. For the most part, it's that conversation. Everything they say, like you just regular. You sitting there, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna get me that ham. Clearly, you can say turkey, and Jake can say, yeah, man, I'd rather prefer me a ham sandwich. You feel what I'm saying? And that's at you. Mentally, that's at you because you like, man, that's wicked. You feel what I'm saying?
Give him extra ham.
You know, like Jake just you be talking and Jake just talking about, yeah, man, I'm finna go hit his chick. That's mentally at you, man. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, because you know that's wicked. I can't be on that shit. And it's like I said, it vexes a lot from day to day. All right, so people are constantly at you. Their imaginations, their thoughts, their conversation is constantly, them arrows constantly coming at you, man. You know, everything they say, everything they do, it just offends you. That's them at you, man. Their ways, you know, they just wicked. So yeah, we ain't got people physically coming at us with pitchforks. It might come a time when that do happen. But right now we ain't got people physically trying to stone us and all that stuff. But all the shit that they do, man, it's spiritual. Everything they do is just constantly you just being poked. You know what I mean? They rebellion. It comes rebellion for them not even coming serving the Lord, man. They Israelites. What they at? Fuck them. You know
We're not worried about them.
Yeah.
We're looking for the elect.
The elect. Wherever they may be, they could be among them. Who knows? But we looking for the elect of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. But just the ways these people are constantly just always offending us, man. All right? We want to see this place destroyed.
All right. I got something real quick. Isaiah chapter 59, verse 15. Yeah, truth faileth, and he that departeth from evil maketh himself a prey. And Yahweh saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment.
Just because you didn't do the evil.
Exactly. Just
because you didn't, as I say, they think it's strange that you run out with them. They speak evil of you. So just because you're not doing it, you a target now.
Right.
You a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what you got a problem with smoking, man? What's wrong with you? You feel what I'm saying? They just got a problem with you just because you're not doing the wicked shit that they doing. They at your throat, man. You know? They looking at you funny. Oh, you think you better than all us. No, man, that's wicked. The Lord said we shouldn't be eating that type of stuff. All right? And they got their own philosophy behind it, but we just gonna die anyways. You know, bro, that's wicked, man. You know, you hate that shit, man.
Book of Hosea chapter 4, verse 1. Hear the word of Yahweh, ye children of Israel, for Yahweh hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land.
And that's the issue. You know, people say, oh, think their own mind. That's to say the heart is desperately wicked, right? People justifying themselves and they're good people, decent people. You know, we still are decent people, but hey, the Lord said, who is my mother, who is my father? But them that doeth the will. If you're not doing the will, you're evil. You know, if you got no faith in the Lord, you're evil. Evil heart of unbelief, that's evil. You know, but read that again.
Hosea chapter 4, verse 1. Hear the word of Yahweh, ye children of Israel. For Yahweh hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land.
Yeah, so that's the issue. Again, that's why the Lord has a problem with this place. That's why in Genesis 6 chapter, the Lord said, the end of all flesh is before me. Why? Because their ways did not please him. You know, they're doing all type of evil things. Their mind is totally away from the Lord, thinking about what the hell they want to do and worshiping other gods and whatever the hell they're doing. You know, results me all wicked. You know, so the Lord said, hey, because they're not reverencing me how I like it, they're not fearing me like how I'm supposed to be feared, guess what? I'm going to start bringing judgments, you know? And the accumulation of things that evil people been doing, it's just a tad that's being built up, you know, to where it's going to escalate to a point where the Lord said enough's enough, and that's when all hell's going to break loose, you know? And that's why, again, the Lord's upset, because why? Because you're not keeping his ways, you know? Simple as that. You think why evil happens on this world? Because they're not keeping the ways of the Lord. Oh, this baby got judged. She flew out the car in a car accident and all type of stuff. Why? Because that baby wasn't innocent, you know? That's a judgment to the parents, you know, whatever it may be, you know? Because ultimately you're not keeping the ways of the Lord. And you would think people would start asking questions like, why did this happen to me? And that's what really what happens is people start losing their faith in the Lord. They start becoming atheists, you know? They start hating the Most High. And that's again going to the mentality of our people despising the Lord, saying he's slack, you know? He ain't coming through, you know? We read in the Malachi, says, where hast thou loved us? You know, but they're not taking accountability of the evil that they're doing. You know, it's going to say they consider not to do evil. You know, the Lord's literally being fair is giving you the fruit of your own ways. Well, it's going to say in Esdras, so you can pretty much turn back onto him. You know, all this evil is happening on you, amendments for you to change, but Jake is going to become more evil. Hate the Lord even more. You know, because the abide in this world, especially now in this age, you got to be extremely wicked. You know, you got to keep up with the times, new trends, new dances, all this other stuff. Niggas, Kia boys stealing people's cars and crashing them and all this kind of stuff to go viral, you know? Normal shit don't go viral no more. You gotta be just a complete degenerate because all the stuff they've been doing and you gotta level up and being evil, you know? So again, that's how this world is going. That's why the Lord said more evil is gonna happen that you even seen before, man. This is gonna get more wicked. You know, you can scratch your head like, damn, can it get any worse? It's gonna get a lot worse, you know? But eventually the Lord's gonna say, again, enough's enough, man. And since it's that evil work, it wasn't speeded in your time, but when that judgment does come, man, fast and brutal, like Apostle Kabbar always goes into. The Lord judges fast and very brutal, you know. 1 hour the Lord gave his place, you know. Go ahead.
Second Esdras chapter 8 and verse 55. And therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish, for when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High, thou scorn of his laws, and forsook his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down the righteous, and said in their heart that there is no God. Yea, and that knowing they must die, for as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it was not his will that man should come to naught, but they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them.
Because Esdras is concerning the whole nation.
Yeah, exactly.
What about thy people? Was that the angel of the Lord speaking to him? Well, ultimately the Lord told him, man, worry not about the masses of these people, man. He told me, don't ask me no more about the masses of these people. You feel what I'm saying? Don't ask me no more, man. You feel what I'm saying? Then he started going to me, only a few men. Because what he said, when I gave them liberty, what he said?
They despised, yeah.
They despised it.
Yeah, they despised.
So I'm not dealing with these niggas no more, man. All right? I brought them all out of Egypt. He mentioned that all the time. I brought them all out of Egypt. They wanted to go back. The Lord is tired of nigga shit, man. That nigga shit the Lord is done with. So he told Esdras, therefore, don't ask me no more about the masses. And that's what we tell the rest of you camps, man. And all you trying to bring in a nation, man. Okay? Don't be concerned about these people. The brothers you got with you right here, man, those that continue, worry about them, their well-being. Hey, brother, how you doing? You all right? You doing good, man? You know? Can I help you with something? Rather than that, man, fuck the rest of Jake, man. And that's the Lord saying that. That's not us. The Lord said that. Because Esdras was concerned about the whole nation. And the Lord told him, don't ask me no more about them. Ask me no more. Don't even ask about them no more. You know?
Continuing on, verse 60. It's not verse 60, yeah, verse 60. But they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful unto him which prepared life for them. And therefore is my judgment now at hand. These things have I not shown unto all men, but unto thee.
I ain't showing these all to all men. Because all those ones that would despise the word of the Most High, all right, ungrateful, the Lord ain't worrying about them no more, man. Those that seeking Yahweh Shem Yahushua in truth and sincerity, was there to elect, they're going to do it regardless. But those are the seeking Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. These things have I showed. So this is why the Lord is giving the secrets unto a few.
Coming over here.
Okay? All that numbers game, man. The Lord is not concerned about numbers. Because when people collect data, right? They collect data far as likely of it happening. They be like, yeah, I mean, it's possible, but it's not likely that that's going to take place. That's how people collect data. Well, if it's possible, anything's possible with the Most High, man. Okay? So we dealing with a God that deals with the underdog. He doesn't need the odds to be in his favor. Okay? Things have to look as if we're weak. As if we don't have, y'all don't got enough members. That's the way things have to look. Okay? So you can't judge this thing according to the rudiments of this world, the standards of this world. Because the standards of this world, they do algorithms basically, oh, it's likely for this to happen. We're not saying it's impossible, but it's not very likely for that to happen. Well, we're dealing with the not very likely, man. All right, that 1%, against the odds, hey, that's what Yahweh Shem Yahushai is dealing with. He's dealing with the lowly, man. Only a few men. Your grandmother, your mama, your father, they might not make it, man. Your favorite cousin might not make it. Okay? And you got to consider that and get things wrapped up tight, because when all hell break loose, a lot of people gonna lose their lives, man.
Right.
And you can't be caught up and, oh, this person died, that person died. That's why we say, hey, it's the will of the Lord. That's how we deal with it. Hey, that person died, ultimately it's the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. And there was nothing that we could do to stop or prevent it from happening. It was the will of the Lord, all right, that put that person to death, man. All right, and that's how you deal as men of the Most High. You deal with reality. As Elder Gabar is going to, we're students of reality. Yeah, that could have happened. That it should have went this way, but no, this is how it happened. Hey, and you know the scriptures. You know how to filter to the scriptures, man. This is why the Lord did that. Plain and simple.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, verse 1. Then said Yahweh unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be toward this people.
Yeah, so Moses and Aaron were ultimately they're on the behalf of pleading for our nation. You know, so even though Most High was dealing with them, go ahead.
Then said Yahweh unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be toward this people.
Yep.
Cast them out of my sight and let them go forth.
Yep. So the Lord's saying, get them out of here. You know, that's what the Lord's saying with the wicked of our people. As Scripture say, He found a fault in us. You know, but going into the wicked of our people that are not going to repent, they got to be destroyed. Because how else are they going to be partakers of the kingdom unless they die? You know, as Scripture say, death by pain. Because they're not going to repent and become a new creature. So the Lord got to take their life in this side so they can be partakers in the kingdom with those new bodies. You know.
Verse 2, and it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither should we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, thus saith Yahweh, such as are for death to death, and such as are for the sword to the sword, and such as are for the famine to the famine, and such as are for the captivity to the captivity.
Yep. And that's that funnel. You want to play around in the broad, or now you're in the straight part of the funnel. You know, you're going to go to death, you're going to famine. You know, wherever you're going to go, that's where you're going to go. Because that's why, again, we read it. Took this thing as a joke. You know, the Lord said, Israel my called, but hey, Jake want to play around and ride bikes all day, you know, until missiles start going and niggas start looking up in the sky and saying what's going on. It's an invasion, you know. The Lord's going to return. What you thought was going to happen, you know? And then they want to seek mercy. They want to ask questions. They want to say, oh, break this precept down, you know. It's too late, you know. The Lord going to say He going to put us in that secret place, you know. He said, enter into my chambers today. They should be overpassed because we're compassionate people. We love our people. This is the greatest love we can bestow upon our people. Tell them the truth, you know. So open rebuke is better than secret love. We're out here rebuking our people. You know, tell them to turn back to the Lord because He gonna come and destroy you. You thought these words were in vain, they're not. Okay, judgment happens every single day. As far as the great judgment that's coming, that's not gonna be turned back too much longer, man. We're not at the doors of this destruction that's coming. You know.
As I was going to, that's when that famine of the word go hit. That's when they go come seeking, and you just got to give them that Jeremiah 15 what we're reading. Thus saith the Lord, because He said in 2nd Ezra the 9th chapter, let the multitude perish that was born in vain, man.
The sword to the sword,
God.
the famine for the famine.
Yeah, so if you
It's like
If you ain't come to serve the Lord, man, at the end of that funnel, like the brother's going through, it's just straight judgment, man.
Because you go into pride, you got no good works towards the Lord. It's being blasphemous, being a nigga, doing all type of stupid stuff, which we were at one point in time. So we say we were once in darkness, but guess what? The Lord will welcome us to this marvelous light. We're repentant. We don't do that no more. We tell you not to do that. That ain't the way.
And like says real quick, like 2 Chronicles 15 says that they mocked the messengers of the Most High. To the wrath of the Most High came upon them, man. Because you're not mocking us, you're just mocking the messengers. But what? The messengers are coming with a message. So you're not mocking us. Or you actually, sometimes they do, oh, look at you guys in dresses and blah, blah, which most people don't even dare to mock us anymore because it's a different time now. But nonetheless, you've already been mocked if you did. But that's the point. You're mocking the messengers, whether you're mocking the actual men or the message. You're still mocking the Yahweh Shem Yahushua because he chose that man to go out there and send that message.
We're getting ready to see the extreme austereness of our power. Right now it's very long suffering. As we say, book of Nahum, slow to anger. Great and rough paraphrasing, I can get it. But pretty much the Lord's pissed off. He said he's furious in that time of him not holding his peace no more. That's what's coming, and that's what again the Lord will give you straightforward answers. You're gonna die. You're gonna die by famine. You're gonna die by the sword. It's gonna be through who? That's gonna say that the Lord's prophets. They're gonna come up to us again at the time of the famine. They might peradventure run into us, and they're gonna ask us what we gotta do. Turn to the Lord. Hey man, it's already over with. There's no time of repentance. It's already gone. And that's up to the Lord. It's between you and the Most High. Again, the stuff that's gonna happen is gonna be real quick. Ain't no be not get ready. Now I can serve the Lord. Now I'm ready. No man, time's already moving quick. So much more in that day.
Right now that this society's collapsed and you can't get the bag no more, now you want to serve the Lord. Shit, you better hope the Lord loves you, because if not, you through, man. Because is that possible? Yes, but is it likely?
Probable.
No.
Yeah.
It's not probable. It's not very probable that that's going to happen, man. It's more probable for women and children than a man. Not a side note. Most of the women that we're gonna get are gonna be young anyway, so exactly. The older bitches that been mocking and scoffing too. Shit.
Yeah, hey, that's like they say, remember the Creator in the days of thy youth. All right. What sacrifices are you really gonna have? All right, when all hell breaking loose, the Lord wants you when you sacrificing your desires, your lusts, the flesh. The flesh want to go out and party and just do all type. Well, you know what it is you like, whatever your flesh cleaves onto, whatever things you think's fun. But you sacrifice those things, that time and you basically give it up to the ministry. So when all hell break loose on and do this and do that, really, what sacrifices can you give over to the Lord? Now we say, anything's possible. Lord have mercy and we have mercy, but for the most part, the Lord dealing with the man that's pushing the word.
Well, because think about it, because the Most High looks at us as a woman. You want an old, used up bitch, or you want a young woman? So that's how the Lord. Remember, we the Most High's the bride. The Most High don't want an old, used up, 3 divorce time, 8 kids woman. Yeah, he want a virgin, right? That's what the elect are, virgins. So they're the same mindset. You got to come to the Lord when you a virgin. Now you got a hot girl. You can't have a hot girl summer and wait till you're 48 to look for the Most High or the husband, right? Or Yahweh Shem outside. Nah, man, you got to come to her in your youth. When you're fertile and young, in your prime. And like brother said, when you gonna give up when you're 48? Shit. Because we all young men, A lot of brothers, came into this truth young. So, hey, we could be out here, acting willy-nilly with these people, chasing after these whores, getting money, doing whatever the hell these people do nowadays. But what? We gave all that up. We gave that away because we saw that there was a greater reward in this right here, man. Even before we started teaching, we saw that there was a greater reward. For sure.
All right, book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, verse 3. And I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith Yahweh, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy.
So when Yahushua returns, he's coming to deliver and destroy. You know, and you're gonna fall into those two categories. And that deliver section, that small remnant, is very elite, small group of people compared to the world. You know, and again, going to that broad gate, the Lord's ultimately coming to play no games. You know, you're coming around and you deal with us because we're men in the flesh. But again, the Lord's coming from the heavens. He's not coming to parlay with you and talk down to you, man. The Lord's coming to destroy you. You know, and that's what we're trying to warn you. But hey, man, that's what they say with they don't want to deal with Moses. Let's deal with the Most High. Right. You know, let's go deal with the Most High. I want to deal with you, Moses. Started thundering. You know, Jay got spooked. You know, but hey, it's gonna be too late at that point. You know, yeah, get that Titus. Not Titus 10.
You got something, Malachi? Yeah, I got something. Going into judgment.
Okay. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 28. It says, "For the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off." Okay, that's going into what? Esau, Edom, all right, being cut off, all right, but as well, all right, as you niggas, man, all right, the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, all right, y'all gonna be cut off right along with Esau, Edom. What the scriptures say, they'll join hand in hand, all right. So when the Lord comes to bring in that judgment, all right, upon everyone, this whole world, but mainly the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, all right, but they didn't hearken unto the Lord.
That's right. Yeah, I got a quick one. This is John 15, verse 22. It says, "If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for their sins." That's right. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, when the time of judgment comes, you're not gonna have no excuse, man. Because here it is for ages, okay? Here it is for decades, all right? The Lord has been basically teaching you a lesson, and now he got his word out to give you the last moment, a chance to be saved, man.
Repentance.
You know, the moment of repentance. You know, he's giving you a fair chance to repent. Here it is, the prophets on the highways and byways, starting with our apostles and our elders down. Brothers been out here for decades, man. You know, giving out warning, telling the people, listen, America's about to be destroyed with thermonuclear missiles. And here you out here, you just got a mirth spirit. You out here just lost. You're not paying attention to the wars. You're not paying attention to the pestilence. That's why you're going to be destroyed if you don't repent, man. Because you have no excuse.
Yeah, because the niggas, like it says in scriptures, they think this life is a pastime for gain. You know, they just want to see this world as a playground and do what the hell they want to do. You know, when you're born on the earth, you have a responsibility. You know, it's going to say, "Go do the commands and fear the Most High and keep His commandments." There's no gray area on that. Either you're serving Him or you're not. You know, and those that don't serve the Lord, there's always a grave judgment for those. You know, and again, the Lord's saving a special purpose. You wicked niggas out here that think this is a game. You know, and Lord, again, the Lord, He's not going to come and say, "Hey, y'all ready?" No, man. The Lord's going to say, He's going to speak by His action. He said, "I'm going to plead with all flesh by that sword." You know.
Ezekiel chapter 21. Ezekiel chapter 21, I'm going to start at verse 8. "Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord, say a sword is sharpened, and is also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Shall we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree." All right, and that's the point, man. All right, shall we then make mirth, seeing the Lord, Yahweh Shemiel Shai, as sharpened Esau Edom, okay, which is the sword of the Heavenly Father, man, the instrument on the left-hand side being played out, man, and he's getting ready to give this sword one last swing, man, one last hurrah, and that's going to be by the way of martial law, him clamping down, putting the clamps down on you Americans, man.
That's right.
Where a standard is going to have to be needed for the elect of the nation of Israel, man. Because we're going to be delivered from the teeth of the beast.
Yeah, because the Lord's going to swing the sword, which is Esau, all right, which is his sword, and it's just so happened to be his blessing is the sword. So Esau's going to go all out, man. The last time he gets to use his blessing. So he's going to go all out. So like I said, the Lord's going to have to lift the standard, man, for the remnant's sake, for the elect's sake. All right, because there would be no flesh saved if this Esau was to do what he wants to do. You know, he would actually destroy him damn self, man. That's how maniacal this dude is, man. how maniac this guy is. That's why the Lord got the one that gave him the blessing, Isaac, also known as Yahushua. He's gonna take the blessing from him too, you know, and use it against him. He's gonna backfire on him. That's a snare. All right.
And that's why it's good to say, you know, hide us from the secret counsel of the wicked, because while you guys are out here playing around, so what man Esau Edom, he got some evil plans for you, you know?
That's right.
It ain't enough for him to poison your water, your food, poison things you consume, you know, not as far as just God, but you know, the content you're consuming on the TV, you know, the music you're listening to, you know, that wicked influence, you know, that's not just enough. Now he wants your soul, you know? And again, why you thinking things are just loosening up, it's getting a little cool, now we can, you know, play around and
Gas went down a little bit.
and that's when you got to be afraid, because what they talk about with a storm, they got a storm surge, you know? Before the storm starts coming in, it looks like, hey, the water's is loosening up, man, you know? And that's when the storm gonna hit you, man. It's surging up because that momentum's being built up, you know? And that momentum being built up is him coming down with that great rap. That turbo spooling, getting that air, you know? Exactly, you know? And then full pressure, you know? And then again, this devil's working the stages, but the Lord's dealing with him to do that, you know? And again, why you think this, you lick the world like in a kindergarten level, man. Everything's fair, you know? You can just work hard and beat somebody. No, man, the game's rigged, you know? And this devil makes all the rules, you know, and you're subject onto it. That's why, just like that, there was lockdown. Just like that, there was juice mandate. Just like that, you know, it was all type of chaos and confusion. Man, it's gonna happen again, but this time it ain't gonna let up, you know.
Yeah, and this time it's gonna be more than medical reasons. He's already done that, all right, and he's still doing it, you know, with all these pestilences coming out. But next is gonna be a whole different level. He's gonna take some domestic terrorist type shit, civil unrest. That's why he's building it up with all these things that's going on right now. If you got to be a moron not to see what's happening.
That's right.
You know, you got uprising is in the making, man, and it's all rigged, so to say. Like I said, it's all manufactured, so to say.
So 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Yep, and that's that calm before the storm, you know. Everything looks like an every single normal day, you know. And then before you know it, gusts start picking up, starts getting dark, you know. And then that rain starts dropping, man. And it says, not scripture saying, the same goes when it rains, it pours, you know. It don't just rain a little bit, it pours down, you know. And that's what you people looking out with no umbrellas, no jackets, nothing, no house, you know, just getting blown away by what's coming. And again, you can't say it wasn't warned, because brother just read it, man. There's no cloak on you. To say there's no problem among them, you know, so they're professing you peace and safety. What's the peace and safety that was offering? You bow that knee, conform to me, you know, call me your God. Everything that you have in your existing life is going to run through me. How much water you drink, how much breaths you took, how fast you drive in your car, where you were, where you going, what you going to do, you know?
How many times you can flush the toilet.
Exactly.
All that, because it's all social credit, all global warming. See, everything that's going on right now is just to lead you up to the mark of the beast, man. And that's what, like, all the things the brother just named is what they're going to be able to control you with. With the chip, they're going to be able to control all of that. Because what? They can just cut your water. Easy. All right, well, how many flushes the toilet 8 times a day? Cut the water. No more flushing. No more sinks, nothing.
There's an article that came out somewhere in the UK. They're able to control your thermostat.
Well, everything's smart now.
Yeah, exactly.
Smart wallet,
They're able to
smart
log into their
toaster. Smart oven, smart, you get AC, everything's, everybody, oh yeah, smart, it saves you money. It comes on,
the app.
Exactly. It says it's environmentally friendly. Yeah, bullshit. It's to control your ass.
Because it was getting too hot over there, and I forgot what country it was.
Right, London,
In Europe.
England.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And people they noticed at a certain time people start cutting their AC down to cool down. Then they like locked it at like 80. Like they couldn't cut their shit down no lower. Like they locked the thermostat because it's digital. You know what I'm saying?
Global warming, man.
It's called smart meters.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? The little meter that they got, smart meters.
We got them out here.
And then the smart grid's already set up. The whole infrastructure is already set up for the mark of the beast, man.
Yep.
Everything's already in place. They've been putting this, like the brother said, smart meters. That was during COVID, COVID. It was during that they were going door to door changing it. Whether you were home or not, they don't need your permission to change it because you're paying the company for the power. They don't need to ask you to change your shit. So, because I literally witnessed it. I was watching this nigga go door to door. Do. Nobody opens up. All right. Nigga went over there and changed it. He came to my door. Do. He said, hey, what's going on? He said, oh yeah, we're just I'm such and such company. We're just going around changing the meters to smart meters. I said, all right, whatever.
But it's a chip short.
Yeah, exactly. But so that's the thing. So you, even if you don't know, you're not aware of it. They did it anyway, whether you're aware of it or not. You didn't have to authorize or sign no paperwork. They did it anyway. Now you wonder why your power bill going up.
Right.
Oh shit!
Mine went up too.
Hey, y'all, brothers, remember this movie like on Disney Channel when you was kids, where it was like they won a smart house, and the bitch used to talk, like used to talk to them. And it was Disney. It was in Disney. It's like it was like basically they won a smart home, and then the computer would talk to them. The house they'll drop like coffee on the floor and then suck it up through the floor. Just like you remember that?
Yeah, locked them in the house.
Yeah, they locked them in the house. It went rogue on them.
Yeah.
There you go.
It went rogue on them and locked them in the house.
That's another thing. It's smart locks now. You can unlock your door from your phone. What they call it, ring and shit, all that. It's all a setup, man.
Yeah. The computer was like, you got to stay in here, lock the house down, and everything.
And that's why they're working so hard on them AIs, which they've already got that shit down.
Yeah, exactly.
So they just want to continue to enhance it, but they already got it down to what they need it for. You know, they've already got it perfected.
And another thing, real quick, they already be having that technology, but why they tell you that you're still working? They still working at it. The mass of the people are, oh, not in this time, or that's still 5-10 years away.
They're 20 years ahead already, shit, from what you got. What they got now is just they've had for decades, you know? And people don't it starts with the military. The military's, you know, they've been had that shit, man. Like GPS, navigation, that shit was, military was using that long before TomTom came out. Remember TomTom?
Yeah.
GPS TomTom?
Yeah. Touchscreen tablets.
Yeah.
I got a preset for you, Art.
I think Kwame said.
Yeah, I got some real quick, but I'm just gonna say, and the people don't take them serious because they still have the luxury of the lights, you know, they still have access to these things. That's why, back in the brother, they don't take the government serious, man. Until the law start clamping down on this place, and you start to lose the luxury of your accessibilities, man. You know, the phone, all right, being able to leave your house, you're gonna get ready to have to lose all these things, man. You know. But real quick, this is 2 Thessalonians 2, and right to the point, verse 10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So all deceivableness is coming to you people, man. Coming to you jakes. And that ultimate plan, that ultimate deception is going to be by the way of having the convenience of everything with that chip, man.
You people love being lied to. You know, I was going to say, evil doer, take heed to lying lips. You rather be lied to. You rather hear smooth things. It feels good onto you. This is good for you. With smart locks is for people that, you know, they got new locks they can open your, you know, some type of shit that run on news. New car theft technique. Who taught them that shit? You know, to scare you to now you got to get all electric car, you know, or whatever it may be. That's what I'm saying goes. All it takes is the right prices, you know.
Catalytic converters.
People still, yeah, exactly.
That's more of a thing than electric.
And this is the thing that says they want to hear them lies. Well, they got that saying, truth is straight, or what's it, how's it go? Truth is stranger than fiction, because they brainwash these people so much that when you tell them the truth, they're like, what the fuck is this nigga? It's so far-fetched to them that it's like, whatever, man. Even though they're living in the fictional world, they're living in the fucking the Matrix, yeah? They're not living in reality, man. So when we tell them the truth, it's like a Disney fairy tale to them. You know, but really, it's the truth, man. That's why we can't be ashamed of it, man. Look, we don't care what you think. You can't, you know, you're not supposed to be dismayed. You know, no matter what people say and feel. You know, we tell them the truth. So if you feel certain types of way, that's a personal issue. Go ahead, dude.
1 Thessalonians 5 and 4. And this is the point, because the brothers went through it, and what Kwame said about all deceitfulness, he read that's a precept. But this is the whole point right here. Brothers were just telling you about different stuff that Esau's doing, different stuff that he's coming with, this different technology, all to control. So it says, but 1 Thessalonians 5 and 4, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that day shall overtake you as a thief.
Because again, the Lord opened our eyes up and our understanding, so we're privy to our enemies. You know, that's the whole thing about taking your enemy's strength. Now you can predict his movements. You know, so us having the whole spectrum of what this man got planned as that bound, there's no other. He's not gonna do some special attack, all right? Some new special agenda, some new shit that we ain't hear about. Because the Lord said He ain't leave us in darkness. He ain't gonna leave us out in the dry. He woke us up to get deceived again. No, man. The Lord woke us up because why? Because salvation. And what stopping Jacob from salvation is receiving this word, which ultimately the bigger picture, the Lord's blocking him from doing that. All right, but that's why it's the God of this world that blinded them, and they want to be blinded. They love this world, you know. So that's why the Lord's going to destroy them with this world, you know. And that's why it's going to be that great shame for our people in the kingdom when they're once woken up through childbirth, you know, through a black man of the Lord. They're going to be greatly ashamed because here it is. This word that's supposed to be a benefit, right? It's a curse ultimately onto you, you know. And that curse, you're gonna die the death of the wicked, all right, a wicked man, okay. And that's a damn shame, all right. But again, going to the Lord, waking us up to this truth, all right. It's for salvation, you know. That's why again we watch these things. People call us conspiracy theorists. Well, there ain't no conspiracy no more, right? And then again, that's why people try to say people are willingly ignorant. They don't want to know, you know. Tell them the truth, they get mad at you. I don't want to hear this. I know it's the truth, but I don't want to hear it. Because why? Because it requires you to change. It requires responsibility. They don't want to do that, you know, but they want to be delivered, you know. It don't work like that. You know, when you fight with something, you got sacrifice. You got something to lose, you know. Jake out there, they want to be partakers of the world and then partaker, you know, it's going to say eat on Satan's table and then eat on the table of the Lord. It don't work like that, you know. You got to choose a side, and really the side's already been chosen. You know, because again, those that have the eyes to see, they see clearly. We're going to hold on fast, you know, again, to the end, man. The Lord told us to hold on what we have, man. You know, may take our crown. We have the answers. You guys got to come to us, the spirit of power of Yahweh. Jeremiah said, the Lord said to Jeremiah, I made you a prophet of the nations. So if you want answers, you got to come to the man of the Lord. It's simple as that. And if you despise that order, you're going to die, you know. And that's how it's going to play out. The Lord don't care who you are, who you with, it don't matter, okay? And that's pretty much the point in the lesson, man. We know what this devil got going on. He wants to chip everybody. Revelation 13, verse 16 on down, you take that chip, MOTB, you're going to be destroyed, okay? And you can say, I didn't know. You know, man, okay? You know better. It's a conscious decision you're going to make. I'm going to take this chip because I want to preserve my life. I don't care what the Lord got going on. I want to preserve my life. I don't care about me. I want to live. I want to be wicked. I want to empower myself in this wicked world. So I'm going to serve the white man. Who cares? I'm going to serve Moab, whoever. Because they all going to have their chip. It says, Revelation 3 and 10, it's going to come upon all the world, okay, to try them, you know? So nobody's going to escape this judgment. Again, it's getting real narrow and real specific, but the man of the Lord has been prepared for this time. Okay, the Lord ultimately been preparing us for this time because, again, the Lord's dealing with his men. Okay, and you're going to see that firsthand, the second and 16th chapter, you know? That's what I'm chosen. So with that, man, you got anything? With that, those words be edifying. As always, when we give all praises
To Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash.
Double honors again to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessed elect of Israel. Shalom.
Ball.
Hey, turn it off, bro. Oh, the X. Okay, I had it.